on Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville, or look them up online at larrypuckett.com.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Minimum purchase required. Interest accrues from date of purchase but is waived if paid within promotional period. Go to windowappointmentnow.com for full offer details.
Attention homeowners. Do you know when to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? Fog between the glass? Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's time to replace. And right now you can get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen. Plus, with our spring savings event, you can buy one window or door and get one 40% off when you buy 4 or more units. Just text OWN to 200-300 for your free consultation on top quality affordable windows or patio doors for no dollars down, no monthly payments, and no interest for a year. That's right, you don't pay a dime for an entire year. Text OWN to 200-300 to buy one window or door and get one 40% off. And right now, save an extra $30 off every unit. Hurry, this incredible offer is only in April. Text OWN to 200-300. Text the word OWN to 200-300. OWN to 200-300.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
After damning politicians uphill and down dale for many years as rogues, vagabonds, frauds, and scoundrels, I sometimes suspected, like everyone else, I often expect too much of them.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into News and Views in the afternoon. I'm Joey. He's Eddie. How you doing today, Eddie?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you doing, Joey?
I'm doing great. I'm in a great mood. You know, I haven't been keeping up with pro wrestling much.
Yeah.
But I did tune into WrestleMania this weekend.
A lot of other people did too, apparently.
And I'm glad I did. What a fun event.
Yeah.
Yeah, and historic event. Yeah, it was big. It's like, and you can catch up on the storyline pretty quick if you're interested in it. And it was a great culmination. I really enjoyed that. And plus, my grandfather is an old school wrestling fan. He hadn't watched in years. He says a little more over the top than I remember. I'm like, yeah, it's gotten ridiculous. So that was a lot of fun. And now everybody's bugging out because of this eclipse, right?
Yeah. Are you braced for the eclipse?
I guess it'll start at 12:40 our time.
Something like that. I have no idea.
Yeah, and go throughout the day. And though it won't be a total eclipse, like that one path everybody's going into.
5% or something like that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be pretty sizable. Like, so we'll have to peek our heads out around 12 something.
The one thing, and I talked to a friend of mine who's a fishing guide. I was like, okay, they'll be out there today. I was like, turn your phone on. I want to see if something weird happens. Because you always hear about, oh, fish are jumping and nature's going crazy and things like this.
Really?
I want to see it. So he'll be out on Lake Martin. I said, please turn your phone on just for a little while. See if anything happens.
Are you big into astrology?
Nah. No, not since I'm not single anymore.
Oh, you were when you were single? Was that like a great pickup line?
It wasn't a great pickup line, but, you know, when times got tight, you could always throw one out there.
What was your sign?
I'm a Libra.
You're a Libra?
Yeah.
I'm a Sagittarius.
Is that right?
Or there was some shift to a new one that I'm actually in.
Oh, really?
The stars realigned, yeah.
I did not know.
So it starts with an O. I can't, but for all my life, I've been a Sagittarius, I believe.
I didn't know you could change.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
I've never really been into that, like, new agey.
Neither do I. I just
like,
know the
worship of crystals. And here's this magical water. They said, well, it'll remove the toxins from my body. I'm like, they just sold you rock water. It's probably going to make you crap your pants.
Yeah. Drink some lake water with beavers in it. That's
right. Yeah. Same effect.
Yeah.
Beaver fever.
Beaver fever.
We got to say it that way, too. It's not beaver fever. It's beaver fever.
Beaver fever.
So, yeah, I'm ready for the eclipse.
Yeah.
I think I'm ready for that.
Honestly, do you expect anything other than a little darkening of the sky?
Well, if Israel, like some of their more radical Orthodox components, are able to sacrifice that red heifer.
Yeah.
Overlooking the, you know,
there is that.
Temple Mount and the Dome of the Rock.
Because you know right now, throughout the world.
Literally the shrine. I'm not making it up. The shrine has been built to sacrifice one of those things.
Throughout the world right now that have been waiting for this. So I'm just kind of curious.
It's just making me nervous. Not that, like, I don't believe in that way, but they do.
Others do.
And there are a lot of people willing to kill. By the way, news coming out of Israel.
Okay.
In a surprise move, the Israelis pulled back the IDF from southern Gaza and from Rafah.
Very surprising.
And the invasion of Rafah is placed on indefinite hold. They're re-entering ceasefire talks. So we'll see. This might have to do with, I don't think Israel wants to be stuck bogged down there in Gaza if something happens with Iran retaliating or Hezbollah jumping in. And so this might be a smart military move.
Could be.
Though you have many folks like Trump saying you need to finish what you started quick because you're losing the PR battle.
That, but I don't think they've got quite the support from our current administration as they'd like to have.
Right. And then, of course, Trump, and we'll play the full video clip. He released a statement today on his abortion stance, says the issue should be decided by the states, which I am in full agreement with. I know there are pro-life groups already criticizing him.
Yeah.
Other, say pro-abortion groups, well, we actually agree with choice. You don't have to do it. And I'm like, okay. All the folks that want everything to be decided by the federal government are upset. I think Trump's making the right choice here. We need to do this more with more issues.
I agree. Put it back on the state level.
Say Alabama and Vermont are very different places.
Whew. Thank God.
Let them do their own thing for the most part. Yeah. So I completely agree with that.
100%.
The Vatican came out, and it was one of these papal missives. Like, it's a pretty official, and they did a whole press conference around it, condemning sex change operations, gender theory, and surrogacy.
Really?
Yeah, and I've seen some videos making around. I don't have a robust opinion about surrogacy.
No, it's just
but I've seen some that it's heartbreaking because the person who is the surrogate is still messaging the child they bore, but the child they bore is now living with the parents who were, paid the surrogate, and it doesn't make you feel happy watching the video. I'll put it that way. It's heartbreaking to watch a child try to understand what's going on.
Certainly.
So the Vatican coming out drawing clear lines in that regard, and I know all you Protestants here, Baptists especially in Alabama, really take the Pope seriously. Wearing jeans now, Eddie, apparently is causing climate change.
Huh?
Yeah.
People walking too fast?
Wearing jeans is the equivalent of driving about 6.5 miles.
Each time?
Yeah.
What if I kept those jeans like I have for the
Which is
10
how
years?
you, like old school jeans, that's how you have to do it.
Yeah, I mean, literally, I think most of my jeans are probably 10 years old.
Now, I've been getting more of the stretchy jeans. It's all the rage. Portnoy gets the Muggsy ones. I haven't pulled the trigger on those.
They expensive? God, probably are.
Yeah, they're a little expensive, but jeans are expensive unless you find them on sale.
But
even Levi's and Lee jeans are.
But I went and bought jeans probably 2 weeks ago. I saw the stretchy jeans. I tried
They're
on the
much
stretchy
more
jeans.
comfortable.
Yes, but as a 54-year-old man,
wait,
trying
what
to pull
style
off
was it?
It was a set of Levi's over there at.
Okay, you shouldn't get stretchy skinny.
That's what they were. They were the skinny.
Okay, yeah, the skinny. I'm past that age.
It kind of
where I
made
can
me
pull
look like
that
a
off.
pug.
Yeah, it makes you look like a Sasquatch. If you have any gut whatsoever, you don't even have that much of a gut. But no, like if you get the normal straight leg with the stretchy material, they're great.
I found they're just normal straight legs, no stretchy.
But apparently we're causing the planet to warm up by wearing our jeans because there's a production process that's very, very dirty or some crap like that.
As opposed to lithium batteries?
Yeah. Now, I want to go now to Senator Fetterman. We'll get into all the details of all this stuff a little later. He's tearing into squatters' rights laws.
Fetterman is... That hospital stay did him some good.
Yeah, but I don't feel like, that clip we played of Senator Katie Britt, talking about how they became friends at freshman orientation, and she visited him in Walter Reed when he was having mental health problems. Yeah. I feel like she did something, though.
What do you mean?
Like, did you put a hex on Fetterman and make him, think right?
Maybe she had a heart-to-heart with the man.
Maybe. I don't know. Friendship going a long way in that regard.
Hey, obviously, whatever he's done has not hurt anything.
No,
done some
he's coming out with statement after statement where you're like, daggum, John Fetterman.
Over here.
A lot better than Dr. Oz.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah. Yes. Good point. Totally.
Now, we also have evidence that Janet Yellen and the entire Biden administration and all the Democrats in Congress lied about the 80,000 new IRS agents. They said it would only be to go after billionaires. Yeah, but 60% of the new cases are for folks who make under $200,000.
We know that.
It was obvious, but it's just good to remind you you're not crazy.
All they do is lie. But did she have an excuse for this one? Like, oh, well, something's changed, so we've had to change our perspectives. Or she just go, ha, 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 got you again, sucker.
And then there's a fight between Elon Musk and the Brazilian top judge there, who's trying to say that X needs to rein it in because misinformation is being shared. Now the judge wants to go after Elon Musk because Musk has opened up Twitter.
I saw him say something negative about Brazil this weekend.
Yeah, to fight authoritarianism, we have to be authoritarian. Gotta love that.
What do you fight fire with, Joey? Fire.
Yeah, the paradox of tolerance. Yeah. It's like, I read my Karl Popper. It makes sense to me. And now let's go local. A little bird told me, if I could describe it that way, that there is an effort from the state delegation, and it already passed the House, to get rid of the city-county employment board. To where, say, city employees would be at the beck and call, hire and fire of the mayor.
I got to bow down and kiss the ring of the mayor to get a job now?
No, but the employment board has been around for a long time.
Yeah.
And there's a move, again, from the state level to just scrap that.
Does no one else seem to think that is a
I don't think it's a
idea?
good idea.
You have a Don running the city at that point.
Well, and if State Senator Barfoot, I know he's on the local delegation, this thing's in the Senate, what's he going to do about it?
I hope the right thing.
And I don't know why. Well, I can understand why. It's a pattern with Mayor Reed. He is, for better or for worse, he can make his arguments trying to centralize more power in the mayor's office. But I think this oversees county employees, city employees, and the airport authority employees.
In the airport, too.
Yeah. And so it would be scrapped.
Total Don.
So I would like to know why Doug Singleton thinks that's a good idea. I believe he's the chair of the county commission.
That's a god-awful idea.
But, that's happening here locally. And then at 1 o'clock, we will have Chief Deputy Kevin Murphy of the Montgomery Sheriff's Department joining us to talk about, the tragedy of this young deputy who died after an on-duty crash. It was confirmed Friday night. And so before I say anything else, I'll wait, and we're going to have Kevin Murphy here in the studio to talk about that and that young man and how great he was and what exactly happened there. Again, 334-272-9228. If you want to get in on the program, that's 334-272-9228. But yeah, I'm trying to think through why just scrap this employment board? It's an independent institution. So if you have employment problems, like maybe you got in trouble, you can appeal to them. And there hasn't been any of that going on with the city or the county at all lately, right?
It's just disturbing. Mm-hmm. I don't know how to say it nicely. That's incredibly disturbing. That's third world country crap.
So, but they'd be like, hey, the other big cities are doing it. Do we really want to be like other big cities?
And let's look at when they say that, because often they compare us to Birmingham. Well, Birmingham does it. Birmingham is a crap hole. We all know it is, or else we would be living in Birmingham. They have seen their better days. Do you remember those games that cost us how much money? Those games they were bringing to Birmingham was going to make Birmingham money? Don't let these leaders fool you.
Oh, the World Games, yeah. There had to be a whole
we had to bail it out. You, me, we didn't even get to see it, but somehow we were on the hook for it?
Right.
Come on.
Just absolutely.
Stand up, people. Stand up.
Absurd. Absolutely absurd. But I want to go back to where I started. Let's go to Donald Trump. This is the big news this morning from Trump, the man himself. A statement on his stance on abortion, especially with this upcoming election. There are a lot of folks saying Trump wanted a national ban. Trump wanted this. Trump wanted that. Of course, it's not going to stop folks from lying and characterizing their opponents in politics however they like. But here it is right from the so-called horse's mouth. Donald John Trump.
Under my leadership, the Republican Party will always support the creation of strong, thriving, and healthy American families. We want to make it easier for mothers and families to have babies, not harder. That includes supporting the availability of fertility treatments like IVF in every state in America. Like the overwhelming majority of Americans, including the vast majority of Republicans, conservatives, Christians, and pro-life Americans, I strongly support the availability of IVF for couples who are trying to have a precious baby. What could be more beautiful or better than that? Today, I'm pleased that the Alabama legislature has acted very quickly and passed legislation that preserves the availability of IVF in Alabama. They really did a great and fast job. The Republican Party should always be on the side of the miracle of life and the side of mothers, father, their beautiful babies, and that's what we are. IVF is an important part of that, and our great Republican Party will always be with you in your quest for the ultimate joy in life. Many people have asked me what my position is on abortion and abortion rights, especially since I was proudly the person responsible for the ending of something that all legal scholars, both sides, wanted and, in fact, demanded be ended. Roe v. Wade. They wanted it ended. It must be remembered that the Democrats are the radical ones on this position because they support abortion up to and even beyond the 9th month. The concept of having an abortion in the later months and even execution after birth, and that's exactly what it is. The baby is born, the baby is executed after birth, is unacceptable, and almost everyone agrees with that. My view is now that we have abortion where everybody wanted it from a legal standpoint, the states will determine by vote or legislation or perhaps both, and whatever they decide must be the law of the land, in this case, the law of the state. Many states will be different. Many will have a different number of weeks, or some will have more conservative than others, and that's what they will be. At the end of the day, this is all about the will of the people. You must follow your heart or, in many cases, your religion or your faith. Do what's right for your family and do what's right for yourself. Do what's right for your children. Do what's right for our country and vote. So important to vote. At the end of the day, it's all about will of the people. That's where we are right now, and that's what we want, the will of the people. I want to thank the 6 justices, Chief Justice John Roberts, Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito, Brett Kavanaugh, Amy Coney Barrett, and Neil Gorsuch, incredible people, for having the courage to allow this long-term, hard-fought battle to finally end. This 50-year battle over Roe v. Wade took it out of the federal hands and brought it into the hearts, minds, and vote of the people in each state. It was really something. Now it's up to the states to do the right thing. Like Ronald Reagan, I am strongly in favor of exceptions for rape, incest, and life of the mother. You must follow your heart on this issue, but remember, you must also win elections to restore our culture and, in fact, to save our country, which is currently, and very sadly, a nation in decline. Our nation needs help. It needs unity. It needs us all to work closely together. Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative, everyone, we have to work together. We have to bring our nation back from the brink, and that's where it is. It's at the brink, and we will. We will do it. I promise you, we will do it. Always go by your heart, but we must win. We have to win. We are a failing nation, but we can be a failing nation no longer. We will make our nation great. We will make our nation greater than ever before. Thank you very much.
Again, that was Donald John Trump, brand new video that came out this morning, and making headlines, making pretty clear statement on his stance when it comes to a lot of these issues. And we'll see where that goes.
Got my Trump Bible over the weekend.
You did?
Yeah.
What's it like?
I didn't take it out of the. I took it out of the envelope just to make sure what it was. I didn't take it out of the clear plastic, but it's a very nice leather-bound Bible.
Yeah.
Talked to Marvin, my buddy Marvin, more about it. He's excited as he can be about it. He told me to open it, but I don't want to open it. I'd rather let him do what he's going to do with it.
Okay.
But I seen a thing too on Fox about Lee Greenwood. They did a little thing about what he did to the Bible. I just haven't seen the negative. I've had a few people not so nicely tell me that it was the wrong thing to do, but I don't see the negative. It's a Bible. I just don't.
It was the wrong thing to do?
Buy a Trump Bible. And I was like, all right, if I didn't buy a Trump Bible, say I went to the local Christian bookstore and bought what am I doing wrong? I don't see it. I don't see anything.
Did you tell them it's America and do what I want?
Told him, well, no, I told him the kind of unique features it had, and they didn't see all that. They call it just blasphemy.
You're not doing it the right way.
Well, I paid the tax on it. I can tell you that. Still can't get over that.
Yeah. So we'll see. But it is a weird timeline where you're starting to see this crossover into more the internet culture, and I think this is what bodes well for Trump. But it's also showing up in the polls. Why are, say, younger men of all demographics jumping on the Trump train? Or maybe not even jumping on the Trump train. They are kind of over Biden. They're over the corporate press. They're over the usual narrative myth-making that we see. I think it's because you do have a burgeoning culture online. Some of it's not necessarily right-wing or left-wing. There are people of all different persuasions, but there's a certain way people talk. I'm talking about shows like Flagrant, like Kill Tony, like Joe Rogan, like Lex Friedman, all over the place. You can go to where it's this comedy scene, this long-form podcasting scene, and then I think it also plays into what you're seeing with media and entertainment. For instance, we talked about this big WrestleMania weekend. Yeah. The Rock came out just last week. Some folks saying it's a psyop because he just wants to sell his football league and doesn't want to piss off everyone. Maybe so. Whatever. But even if he's having to do it begrudgingly or cynically, in order for his bottom line to be boosted, The Rock came out and essentially said he regretted endorsing Biden. And so that guy who says, I regretted endorsing Biden is now like the biggest star on the planet. You're starting to see, the culture is shifting in a way that isn't easily controlled by the powers that be. Now, they still have a lot of power. Do not get me wrong.
Right.
They have a lot of weight, especially with the older crowd that tends to do most of the voting. But there is a shift happening. And maybe RFK Jr. is right, that this is the year when a new form of media, like when television was new and it helped his uncle Jack.
Very true.
This new form of media is going to change American politics for the better, I think.
Very true.
Maybe it will be next cycle where it's really in the catbird seat, but I don't think so. I think it's happening now.
I think it's happening now, and it does keep elevating, so next cycle will be even more.
Right.
But I wonder if this is the one that can put us over the top.
Right. So much to get to today, but we'll hit a quick break.
Aight.
More news and views in the afternoon after this.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. For years, I've been asking you to call me at Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. When you call Alabama Home Mortgage, from the moment we pick up the phone, you will hear the difference. We are passionate about what we do. To us, you're not just another applicant. When you call on us, you are trusting that we have your best interest at heart, and we do. We treat our customers like family, and that's why our customers turn into family, coming back to us time and time again. We know you have many options when it comes to mortgage financing, and we appreciate the opportunity to earn your business. We are excited to hear from you. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Our passion is just one difference that sets us apart from the rest. It's not just a slogan. Call Alabama Home Mortgage because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-368, Equal Housing Lender.
Mow like a pro with Hustler Turf zero-turn mowers. They engineer their mowers to be maintenance and service-friendly for the everyday homeowner while not sacrificing the build and cut quality they're known for. From the heavy-duty frame to the welded steel deck to their trademark smooth track steering, Hustler Turf zero-turn mowers deliver professional-grade cut quality for a perfectly manicured lawn. Why don't you stop by and see Deatsville Ace Hardware? See the Hustler difference for yourself today. Deatsville Ace Hardware on US 31 just north of Prattville, or Google Deatsville Ace Hardware for more information.
This is former Alabama Supreme Court Justice Glenn Murdoch. Alabama is a great place to live and work and raise our families because Alabamians are a good people of faith and traditional values. But a huge gambling bill in Montgomery would change our culture forever. Neon light casinos bringing more crime to our big cities and small towns, highly addictive cell phone betting, and the state selling the lie of lottery riches to the poor and most vulnerable. With all that's wrong in the world, this is no time to give up on our traditional values in Alabama. Call and ask your senator to be the leader you elected them to be. To stand strong and vote no on gambling. and keep the Alabama we know and love. Thank you.
Call your senator at 334-261-0800. 334-261-0800. 334-261-0800. Paid for by Alabama Eagle Forum, Box 130757, Birmingham.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
News and talk without the static. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
This is how you conduct yourself in a democracy?
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Well, apparently Trump had an amazing fundraiser, like 50 million something out of nowhere, which maybe you contributed to, getting the Bible.
I feel like I did do something.
But there's another Trump tchotchke, if I could put it that way. I wouldn't refer to a Bible that way.
From Happy Days? Fonzie's cousin tchotchke?
No, like the little, useless knickknacks that you can buy.
You. Okay.
Well, there's one that's some guy stayed in, I think, the Trump Hotel in Vegas.
Okay.
And he said, here's the best thing in the gift shop. So let's listen in together.
We didn't stay, but been there.
I'm in Vegas staying at the Trump International, and you won't believe what they have in their gift shop.
It's like a little device.
This is my new favorite hotel in Vegas.
See him. I've seen those. We were somewhere in like a gag store. You could get a million different people's faces on there.
Yeah, so it's essentially a thing, the lid of your toilet. You can put this thing on it.
Yep.
Like just stick it to there.
So you don't pee in the dark anymore.
And it pushes a light down into the toilet bowl. And the one they have at the Trump Hotel is Biden looking off into the distance, confused.
They've got a Hillary one I've seen.
I'm sure they've got a Trump one.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. Because we were in Vegas, there were some anti-Trump stores. I mean, they sold it both, but like one side was pro-Trump and the other side was anti, but one and the same. But yeah.
So you're going to pick that one up too?
That's pretty cool. If I could find the Hillary Clinton one, I'd be interested in that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, but now that we're on consumer products, maybe, we're just being damn dirty capitalists. Like consumers. That's all we do. We just consume and consume and consume. And we want more and more and more. Maybe socialism, Eddie, is the right way to go. And I think this is Dr. Richard Wolff.
Okay.
He's a renowned socialist, if one can be such a thing. And he was asked, though, on a gamer chat or some just live stream.
Yeah.
Bro, what if I want a PS5? What do I do to, under socialism to get a PS5? Let's listen in.
Good question.
Final question to you, Professor Wolff. Under your system of worker cooperatives, would I still get my PlayStation 5?
Absolutely. You'd have to struggle a little bit for it. You'd have to talk to your fellow workers. You'd have to talk about the distribution of income. You'd have to compare your desire for PlayStation against all the other interests of all the other people. It wouldn't be something you worked out on your own with your particular boss in any way. It would have to be a democratic decision. You'd have to come to terms with that the way you do with democratic decisions now in our society to the extent that we have them.
That sounds like a nightmare.
Right.
How about I work hard and I can go get what I want?
Well, see, that's the system when you're a young child. That's how it works. You go to your parents and you ask them for things and you have to beg for it and negotiate. But then when you become an adult, you can go do those things for yourself.
Like everything should be up to a vote, including like if I can own an entertainment unit?
Well, Joey, what's your credit social score right now?
Right.
Are you entitled to one? Should we allow you to have
I mean, the guy's being straight up. I give him credit for being honest, but that is bat crap crazy.
Yeah. That's crazy.
You have to negotiate and talk to other workers and blah, blah, blah.
So
It's
no,
like-
no is the answer.
Well, and if that was the case, we wouldn't have PS5s. We probably wouldn't have the basic capital goods that go into making a PS5.
Right.
If under his system. Now, you want to go live in a commune? In fact, what is it, kibbutz in southern Israel? A lot of the ones that were attacked are essentially like communes.
Yeah.
The hippies down there. And so if you want to go do that, cool. And in fact, I think something like that can work at a very small scale. But in terms of like actually producing wealth and providing for people and providing all the things that folks have become used to, I don't think it works that way.
Don't think so, buddy.
And I'm so tired of this idea that people consider liberty or freedom to be just what everybody else says and negotiates with you. Now, how about liberty as an individual right and gift from something bigger than all of us? And it isn't, my right to vote or share in the political process. My liberty means I can think what I want. I can say what I want. I can believe what I want. I can trade as I please at whatever price that I want, including my own labor.
Yep.
Where does this idea come from that, no, you're not free to do things? Freedom is actually being restricted by everybody else. It's just a joke. And that was the most absurd example I've seen in a while. To get
like
a PS5.
You said, at least he's honest about it. He puts it out there.
Yeah. What did he say exactly? You'd have to struggle with it?
Worker cooperatives, would I still get my PlayStation 5?
Absolutely. You'd have to struggle a little bit for it. You'd have to talk to your fellow workers. You'd have to talk about the distribution of income.
Oh, that sounds like that's the biggest argument against socialism, is it sounds like too much damn work and stuff, involuntary work at that.
Right. Involuntary.
Give me a break.
Involuntary. Keyword.
Yeah, that's making the rounds today because, well, it's an absurd example of where this country might go if we actually adopted that insane philosophy. Folks say, it's good in theory. No, it's not.
It is not at all.
It's not good in theory.
Not one good bit of goodness that comes out of that.
Yeah, that whole line, it's good in theory, but not in practice. It's like, no, if it's bad in practice, it means your theory sucks, bro.
You know what's good in theory? Being able to eat a whole cake. You know what's bad in practice? Eating a whole
Remember
cake.
that scene in Matilda where the fat kid's punishment is he has to eat the whole cake in front of the school?
Yeah.
Sounds like torture. Wait, have you ever been
For the
there?
first-
I felt like
for the
I was,
first few
as I
pieces,
was saying those words,
so torturous.
you were getting memories.
I was getting memories of this weekend. I made some really good food this weekend, and I ate way too much of it.
Really?
Yes. It's embarrassing, but I'll put it out there.
I had a fat boy weekend because I'm a factor guy like you.
Well, I did the
So
factor.
I'm this week, I got my butt up, I went to the gym, all this stuff.
Okay.
And I'm going to be eating a lot cleaner. Like I didn't get the pimento cheese sandwich midday, all that stuff.
I did beans and ham this weekend.
But knowing that I was going to start hitting the ground running this week, I was like, fat boy weekend. Let's do this thing. Oh, yeah. Not too crazy, but
I ate like
enough.
6 bowls of beans and ham.
Wow, that's a lot of beans and ham.
So good, Joey. I made it myself.
No, I got
and it
some
was
little
just-
chocolate donuts and some milk. Yeah, those are good.
Yeah, those are good.
Yeah. Got
I
some,
can't find good
got some
chocolate
dip.
milk
Like
anywhere.
I'm a sucker for dips, like a ranch or a French onion dip or a crab dip or
Susanna-
whatever dip.
Susanna's got me on the jalapeno pimento cheese thing now.
It's good, isn't it?
It is with the jalapeno.
Right.
Not in a sandwich, though.
Right. And then got some good Detroit style pizza, cooked it up for my grandfather, myself, as we watched WrestleMania, brother. Yeah, it was,
That is good.
And the Motor City Company's frozen is damn good, folks.
Really?
Yeah, that's one of the best frozen pizzas I've ever had.
I've only had like 1 or 2 decent frozen pizzas, to the point I generally don't even try them anymore.
Right.
I'll have to check that one out.
Yeah, but it was fun having a good fat boy weekend. We'll see if it's the true final one next weekend. That in all
We'll
due
see.
time. Here, don't worry about it. I'll just pick up. Line 1, you're on there. Who's this?
Hello, this is Daniel.
Hey, Daniel.
Yep. I had a question. Did you hear about President Joe Biden and the Cheeto dust that he said actually could have a cure for cancer?
Wait, Cheeto dust? Could
Yep, he said it. He said it not too long ago in one of his speeches.
Okay, I'm looking.
I do
this
like
up.
some Cheetos.
Cheeto dust Biden. I don't even know. I'm not seeing it immediately. Where'd you hear this, man?
I heard this from a friend of mine. Got to be the liberal media. Liberal media covering it.
Wow. Good job, guys.
Good stuff.
Got to be the liberal
media.
No, but that's not the term we use on this show.
No.
I always say corporate press, including Fox.
No, Fox is bad.
Sean Hannity
You'll go through
sucks so much.
It ain't even just Hannity. You'll go through the headlines and you're like, okay, looking at it in two sides. Okay, yeah, this is my team. This is my team. And then in the middle of it, there's one that you're like, wait a minute, my team did not put this out there. This is corporate media crap right here. Every time, man.
Every time.
Yeah.
I mean, and Ukraine's the greatest example.
Oh, Joey.
Like, if we just give them a little more money, which actually is giving it to us. Well, not us. Isn't it funny how we use the collective we? Like, we mean the military contractors.
Yeah, well, those military contractors, and we got some local ones,
Mm-hmm.
they don't pay the best, Joey.
What? They don't pay the best? What do you mean? Hyundai pays better?
Oh, yeah, by far.
Really?
By far.
But isn't the work comparable? Like, you're on an assembly line, right?
I honestly, I don't know because I haven't done the military stuff. I've talked to a few guys that have, but no. Somebody's getting rich, and it's off you and me and everybody else's dime.
Not surprising there. But we'll get into the latest when it comes to Ukraine after the break. More news and views in the afternoon after this.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group. Have you ever considered turning your home into a rental and build wealth at the same time? People throughout the river region are doing that right now. By investing wisely in the right property or turning your current home into a rental is the secret. Hiring a property manager to professionally manage your property is the way to prosperity. Our company does all of the advertising, personally showing prospective tenants, does a thorough background check and credit report before moving forward. Over 15 critical services are provided to our clients in protecting the asset, but also providing the best residence in your home possible. Collecting rent on time and frequent inspections help landlords feel better about renting their house, and to provide clean, well-kept homes that anybody would be proud to call home. For a complete list of property management services, call Bo Goodson at the Goodson Group at 221-2883 or 551-0225.
Make 2024 the year you break away from the chain stores and join us here at Adams Drugs. We value your business and want to provide you the best customer service at the lowest possible price. We've been serving up excellent customer service here in the River region for over 62 years.
I made the swap to Adams Drugs and I couldn't be happier. Having a job and then getting 3 kids to all of their activities keeps me busy. I don't have an hour to waste waiting on a prescription. At Adams, they know me and my family. I get in and out in minutes, and when I can't get by Adams, they'll bring the prescription right to my door.
What are you waiting for? Come in to Adams Drugs and let us earn your business. Our friendly and personal staff will talk with you and answer any questions you may have about your prescriptions. Your satisfaction is our #1 goal. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net for the location nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your local independent Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
Hi, this is Sharon with the Depot Furniture Gallery. Choosing to advertise with Blue Water was an easy decision to make. Our goal was to increase sales, and they reached the audience that we wanted to connect with. Our sales rep has been great to work with, and we couldn't be happier with the results.
Did you know that radio is the #1 reach platform in all of media? It's true. Call us to find out how to put radio's #1 reach to work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
The Health and Wealth Show. The Health and Wealth Show. The show so nice, we said it twice. Weekday evenings at 6 on News Talk 93.1 WACV. The Health.
Break it up, son. Joke's over, hey?
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where dump truck drivers are in demand. Wiley Sanders is on the grow. We need dump truck drivers now. Call 855-77-9785.
Well, hi, everybody. Yes, there will be a sun and cloud mix today, but I'm cautiously optimistic that we'll get some decent eclipse viewing. The ending is at 3:17 in the afternoon. Nice warm day today, high 81. Risk of showers holding off till late tonight in the overnight hours, low 61. Widely scattered showers possible tomorrow, high 77. Then rain and thunderstorms Wednesday. It's a big deal storm system. Locally, very heavy rainfall, severe weather potential, high 75. Maybe some leftover showers on Thursday, first half of the day, high 75. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey Publix.
The River Region's first and only news talk station on FM. Live, local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to the program. Before we keep going here, this part of the show brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health, and they're at Montgomery Men's Health. Well, they can help you fellas out, especially as we get older. Things can happen, guys, like erectile dysfunction. It's a real thing, or it could be a more general problem leading to your ED, low testosterone. And these are not anything to put off, deny, be ashamed about. Not something to wait to get fixed, certainly.
Right.
And I know guys hate going to the doctor. I don't like going to the doctor, but Montgomery Men's Health was created to take care of guys just like us. The reality is pills often quit working and guys start making excuses for coming to bed. Did you know, Eddie, that studies show that men will be more irritable and argumentative before bed just to avoid failing at intimacy?
I did not know that.
Wow. So, gentlemen, if you're lacking motivation, energy, drive, including a loss of sex drive, you're just always tired and feel like you're walking through your life in a fog, including losing muscle mass and seeing unwanted weight gain, knowing whether you have low testosterone is huge in combating some of these issues. The providers at Montgomery Men's Health will conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup plus a consultation for only $99. Montgomery Men's Health has low T treatments that can truly change lives. Men can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym. Brother, that's right, brother. Better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism. You usually even notice an increased libido. You can actually book the same day that you call. Guys, it's time to feel amazing and hit your goals this year. That number, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today. Now, I want to go to a little write-up. I believe this is from a very libertarian source. Moon of Alabama, you know who that is?
Do not have a clue.
Never looked into it. And, I pull from all sorts of sources, folks. So he writes, I find it amusing how little Western media have learned from their own reporting on the war in Ukraine. 2 years ago, a mystic ghost of Kiev was allegedly shooting down Russian aircraft left and right. The ghost turned out to be a fake character. The Ukrainian Air Force had never had such successes. 2 years on, it is still the same story. The Ukrainian government claims something and Western media print it as if it had really happened. When the claim is debunked, often sooner than later, it simply vanishes from the headlines. Yesterday, we had this media wave. Russian planes destroyed in major attack. Ukraine drones destroy 6 Russian warplanes in one of the biggest attacks of the war. Ukraine claims it destroyed Russian planes in one of the biggest drone attacks of the war. That's from AP. See, and they got clever. They put claims. Right. Ukraine claims, right? Russia-Ukraine war live. 20 members of Russian airfield personnel killed or injured in drone attack, Kiev says. Ukraine war latest. Ukraine strikes airfield in Russia, destroying or damaging 19 warplanes, sources say. Wait, is it 6 or?
Yeah.
The Russian side did confirm the attacks, but denied any significant damage. They went on to say the primary target was a particular airfield in the Rostov region where Ukrainian forces dispatched 44 drones. The exact type remains unknown and will be determined upon analyzing the debris. However, there is a high likelihood that these are the same UAVs that the enemy has been utilizing in recent weeks. I think they hit that third largest oil refinery with some of these. Out of these, 26 drones were intercepted by our air defense missile systems and 18 by rifle squads. Based on the video circulating online, it is evident that the drones were flying at an extremely low altitude, enhancing the level of stealth. No significant damage to the infrastructure, says the Russian side. But you're like, well, it's the Russian side. They're propagandists too. And I'm happy to say, yeah, all the belligerents are lying in war.
Right.
But then it was confirmed, the Russian story, by the very anti-Russian Institute for the Study of War. Remember watching General Keane on Fox?
Yep.
ISW has yet to find any visual evidence that Ukrainian forces have damaged or destroyed aircraft or infrastructure at any of the 4 Russian air bases targeted by drones on the night of April the 4th or 5th. Such news cycles of fake claims of alleged Ukrainian successes are a major reason why some in the Western public still believe that Ukraine can win this thing. Right. That is, however, not the case. The situation requires a change of attitude. Instead of a new approach, the old pattern continues. NATO mulls over how to help Ukraine without provoking open war with Russia and fails, in the end, to deliver the kind of decisive assistance needed to turn the course of the war. Another establishment pattern is the repetition of moralistic binary language. The West cannot let Russia win. The rules-based order could unravel. Then there is the new domino theory. If Ukraine falls, Russian hordes will flood further west.
Right.
The personalization of the conflict onto one evil man, Vladimir Putin, continues with the death of Alexei Navalny. It is a struggle of good and evil, democracy and authoritarianism, civilization and darkness. There can be no peace until the tyrant falls. The Western Alliance must not waver in its commitment to Ukraine. Well, the lack of realism in Western discourse is clear. There is indeed a serious risk that, rather than the West teaching Russia a lesson and putting Putin in his place, the opposite may occur. Is Russia, in fact, educating the West on what it means to use hard power and wage interstate conflict in 21st century conditions? Russia advertises its version of great power sovereignty, in which a united, resilient, and unwavering state can defeat the pooled sovereignty of the EU and NATO. We have all heard the objection that Putin simply cannot be trusted, and he wants nothing less than the complete elimination of Ukraine as an independent state. Yet does not the blind continuation of the West's dysfunctional Plan A also threaten the total physical destruction of Ukraine? It is for this reason that Pope Francis has called on Western leaders not to be ashamed to negotiate before things get worse. A new approach to the war in Ukraine will not emerge from rhetorical and moralistic proclamations. Words alone will not prevent a Russian victory. What is needed is a clear accounting of what can be realistically achieved with the means available, as well as the cost, risk, and benefits of different scenarios. Trying what has failed before and expecting new results is, after all, not a recipe for success. But no appetite in Western nations to really intervene in the war and to experience the Russian wrath that any intervention force would be submitted to. But the current crop of Western leaders, so-called, is too committed to the failed case for Ukraine they now have made for more than 2 years. For now, they are likely to try to just muddle through. We will have to wait for some regime change for a return to sanity and realism. Now, this is being brought up in the midst of, now Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, is entertaining, let's do the $60 billion package. As Alabama's own Mike Rogers was here last week visiting the Montgomery Chamber of Commerce, giving a speech and an update on Ukraine, he is a proponent of the domino theory.
Of course he is.
That because Putin said, Putin said it, he's going to rebuild the Soviet Union. Like, where did he say that?
He said it.
I mean, he said that the biggest geopolitical tragedy, something to that effect, was the fall of the Soviet Union. But that doesn't mean he wants to put it all back together again. It might mean he's going to do Nouveau Russia.
But didn't he say
let's get more territory, let's even take Odessa. But yeah. I don't see this domino theory playing out. It seems as crap as the old domino theory.
I thought he said something to the effect of he doesn't have anything more besides Ukraine. He has nothing else he really wants. So
now I don't even think he wants all of Ukraine.
Right. He wants the good stuff.
Well, yeah.
Who doesn't?
Right. And, you would hope your so-called leaders who actually have better have better information.
They do.
But
they're
the
truth.
The ones that actually speak out, like, say, Barry Moore or Tommy Tuberville, are called ignorant or stupid by people like Mike Rogers. Now, as the House is entertaining this, enter J.D. Vance. He was on with Maria Bartiromo, talking about, the prospect of the House considering Ukraine aid without any further actual border security funding. Let's listen in together.
Republicans cannot really move the needle on securing the border? You're coming back to work next week, this upcoming week, after your Easter recess, and it sounds like the priority is money to Ukraine. There's a $95 billion foreign military aid package. Maybe it comes to the floor, not this week, but next week. Regardless, when can you secure the border and how?
Well, let me just say, first of all, Maria, this illustrates the need for a President Trump round two. We know that the Biden administration has thrown open the floodgates here. They have undone a lot of Trump-era immigration policy, and we've seen the effects. But I don't want to let congressional Republicans off the hook here, because we actually do have leverage. We just have to be willing to actually use it. I think Speaker Johnson is a good guy, but if he brings up a foreign aid package, sending billions of dollars to Ukraine without doing anything on the southern border, it will be a disgrace and a massive betrayal, not just of Republican voters, but of the entire country. Why would people elect Republicans if Republicans are more focused on the border of another country than the border of our own country? So I hope Speaker Johnson really shows some steely resolve here, pushes back against the craziness, and tells the Biden administration, you don't get a dime for your foreign priorities until you do your job and secure the border. And in the meantime, we've got to do everything we can to reelect Donald Trump, because if we had him, we wouldn't be dealing with a president who wants to have an open border.
Fascinating.
Her voice.
You don't like it?
It's awful.
It's terrible?
Yes, it would make paint bubble.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Now, my favorite Maria Bartiromo clip is when she's still on CNBC. She's still pretty young, pretty good looking.
Okay.
And she interviews Prince. And he's sitting on a couch next to her, and she's like, we've got a guitar. You want to play something? He's like, well, I'll play if you sing. And you see this woman melt into a little girl.
Really?
I'm not even going to pull it up, but it's so apparent. Like, she's got to be this confident, in that world of media, especially at that time.
She's it.
It's tough being a woman. You got to really have cojones.
Yeah.
And yet in that moment, all that toughness dropped.
That's funny.
Okay, that's pretty funny.
That's funny.
And, she's got a pretty good gig there on Fox Business, I guess.
She's got a great corporate gig.
Mm-hmm. I don't want one of those gigs.
I don't either, but I should take the money for one.
Oh, you would?
Oh.
What's your price?
For that? $780 a year.
$780 a year.
Take home.
You still living here?
I got a house here.
Okay, but if you're doing $780 a year, you might, if you're living in New York, you might want to ask for more.
Not living in New York. I'm flying in and flying out. Do it like Matt Lauer did.
Oh yeah, that creep.
Hey, I agree, 100% creep. But man, he knew how to work a contract, buddy. Look at some of his contracts, man.
Yeah, and a secret locking button under his desk as the dildos
contract
came out.
In the contract.
Hey, we got to hit this top of the hour break, but first, as part of the program, brought to you by Pest Pro Services.
Oh, yeah, man.
And Ashley and her team there, don't they do great work?
They do great work. I had guests up at the Airbnb this weekend. Guess what they did not complain about? Mosquitoes. They did not have one complaint, period, but they complained nothing about mosquitoes.
And that's because of Pest Pro.
100% Pest Pro. They came out there. It's been 2 weeks now. We've had a couple rainstorms, and everybody told me, oh, Eddie, once it rains, you'll see it come back. They have not come back at all. I'm 100% sold.
And this should be like Mosquito Central.
This is Mosquito
with the wooded
Central.
area and right there on the lake.
Right on the water. Yeah, even my neighbors next door complain about mosquitoes, but we don't have them.
And that's how good Pest Pro Services is. Get your yard treated for those mosquitoes or get an inspection. It's the time of the year where termites are
They're on
ready.
the move, baby.
And so did you know that homeowners insurance doesn't cover termite treatment or damage? So you might as well pay for the treatment early. It's much less expensive.
Sure is, Joey.
Than treating termite damage. And of course, they can do everything for you when it comes to pest control there at Pest Pro Services. You might as well make them your everyday pest control company. That number, 265-9990. That's 265-9990. Or you can always go to ppsriverregion.com or just search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. What do you want to know? Call a pro. Pest Pro Services. And be sure to tell Ashley and that fantastic team that Joey and Eddie, those two idiots on the radio, sent you. Chief Deputy Kevin Murphy joining us after the top of the hour break.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. The moon has started to cover up the sun in Texas as an eclipse is underway, millions along a narrow corridor in North America from Mexico's Pacific coast to eastern Canada. Hope for clouds to clear out as they eagerly await for totality to reach their location. South Korea is successfully launching its second military spy satellite into orbit. This comes days after North Korea reaffirmed its plan to launch multiple reconnaissance satellites this year. Stocks are higher after last week's roller coaster ride left them shy of their records. The focus on Wall Street now is on interest rates and when the Federal Reserve will lower them. The Dow had 38 points. The NASDAQ Composite Index up 20. This is SRN News.
Biden has started tracking Christians like cattle. Yes, you heard it right. He pressured banks to tag transactions for certain keywords. One of them is Holy Bible. It's a horrifying and creepy attack on our religious freedoms. It's made possible by a digital financial system that makes you a sitting duck. But you do have other options. I recommend a physical gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. I'm Lance Wallnow, a news analyst, a best-selling author, and evangelical leader to people who cherish their financial independence. A precious metals IRA can help you avoid the scrutiny of Biden's anti-Christian bureaucracy while also preserving your retirement savings. To find out more, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word faith to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and see how a gold IRA can help you. Text faith to 989898. There are no strings attached. So text faith to the number 989898 right now and take action to protect your own prosperity.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Montgomery Paint and Body. From a little fender bender to total body repair, MPB will fix it good as new, maybe better. For over 35 years, the Turner family has been getting you back on the road. Call 279-7325.
Rich Thomas Weather. Well, hi, everybody. Yes, there will be a sun and cloud mix today, but I'm cautiously optimistic that we'll get some decent eclipse viewing. The ending is at 3:17 in the afternoon. Nice warm day today, high 81. Risk of showers holding off till late tonight in the overnight hours, low 61. Widely scattered showers possible tomorrow, high 77. Then rain and thunderstorms Wednesday. It's a big deal storm system. Locally, very heavy rainfall, severe weather potential, high 75. Maybe some leftover showers on Thursday, first half of the day, high 75. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
ASE Credit Union makes auto loans easy with rates as low as 4.75% APR. Apply online or visit your local branch today. Federally insured by the NCUA, Equal Opportunity Lender.
ASE Credit Union, your life, your goals, your ASE.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, here's today's top stories. Work has resumed on the project to add an additional lane on I-85 South between Midline and Taylor Road in Montgomery. The barrier wall will be removed by Tuesday morning, and paving operations will begin shortly after. The project is expected to be completed early this summer. A new bill regulating sexually explicit children's books has been filed in the Alabama legislature. HB 425 would prohibit a library from purchasing or accepting donated materials containing sexual content if the publisher of the material has recommended it for minors. Hyundai and Kia issued a recall of 3.4 million vehicles in September, saying the vehicles should be parked outdoors because they risk catching fire, whether the engines were turned on or off. 6 months later, most of these automobiles remain on the road, unrepaired due to a replacement parts shortage. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
In Alabama, more than 200,000 of our family members and friends are living without health coverage. Often folks can't stay healthy enough to keep their jobs. We need to fix this. It's time for us to find a way to close the health care coverage gap so that folks can remain in their jobs. Where there's a priority out there, we as Alabamians have always found a way to achieve it. Contact Governor Kay Ivey and let her know. Now is the time to close the coverage gap and cover Alabama.
Paid for by the American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Honey, did you call an electrician to put in that new bathroom outlet?
No, I thought I'd just get Cousin Ray.
He's not a real electrician.
Oh, Ray's handy. He can do anything.
Being handy and being an electrician are two different things. Electricity is complicated and potentially dangerous. Each year there are thousands of home fires caused by faulty wiring. You need an expert. To wear the Crosby Electric uniform, you have to undergo background checks, drug testing, continuing education, and rigorous safety training. When you need electrical work, or if you just like someone to assess your home for safety, call the experts at Crosby Electric.
So, how about that nice outlet Ray installed in the bathroom?
Do you think it's safe?
It's fine. See, when I plug in my electric razor, it...
Now the lights are out. I am not sleeping a wink until you get Crosby Electric out here.
Don't take chances with electricity. Call the experts at Crosby Electric, 272-2085, or visit us at crosbyelectric.com.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. It's news and views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Eddie Bader's still here. How you doing, Eddie?
I'm doing good. A lot better now. We got a great guy in the studio with us.
We really do. We have, Chief Deputy Montgomery Sheriff's Department, Kevin Murphy, right here in person, in studio. Hey, Kevin, how you doing today?
Good. How are y'all?
Good. Good. To
Good.
see you.
We're surviving the eclipse so far.
Yeah.
So, but you wanted to join us today in one way to say thank you to the outpouring of support from the community, but it is just heartbreaking to see. I saw when it was officially announced Friday night, this young deputy passed away, and it was on duty, but I want to give you the floor to really speak about Jermias here.
Well, thank you. It's very kind of you to bring me on your show. I know that you guys reach a lot of people, and the outpouring of concern when he was hurt in the hospital, and then certainly after Friday evening when he passed away, the outpouring of sympathy and condolences has been overwhelming for us. I know the sheriff and I and several members of our staff have been on the phone all weekend, and I've been stopped out in public. I was at the ball field Friday night. It was before Jermias passed away, and several people walked up to me and said that we were all in their prayers. But, I just wanted to thank your audience and the citizens of Montgomery County for all they've said to help us get through this. It's horrible. I've been through it before, unfortunately, and I've lost a lot of friends. One's too many. But this young man, Deputy Jermias Young, was a fantastic guy. He's a great young man. He volunteered for almost all of our community events, something he didn't have to do, but he did. He was a mentor and a counselor to our Explorer unit, which is teenagers who aspire to go into law enforcement. Here he was, just graduated from the academy, and was already showing an interest in mentoring people that really weren't much younger than him.
Right.
He just turned 21. Jermias started with the sheriff's office a few years back as when he was 18 as a correctional officer, too young to be a deputy, but did a fantastic job in the jail. Received the correctional officer of the quarter in late 2022. So he'd really already kind of established himself as, a great leader and a very hardworking, ethical young man. He started the police academy, and two of his academy mates, Eric Dunn and Leon McLeod, they were there at the hospital the night that he had the accident. They were very close. You build a very close bond in the police academy, and certainly it transitions over to the road. And there was a lot of deputies there at the hospital that night with his family. And and then Friday night, really 2 a.m. Saturday morning, we brought him home to the funeral home. The troopers assisted us in escorting him back from UAB, and the sheriff was there, and I think we probably had about 50 law enforcement cars. Most all of them were off duty that came in on their off day just to bring Jeremias home. So I do want to thank some of the people that were there on the scene when he had his accident. The Snowden Volunteer Fire Department. Somebody with the volunteer fire department drove up on the accident. It hadn't even been dispatched yet. And they had their personnel there very quickly. And I watched the body cam footage of the scene, and just the heroism and the care and the determination that they had. And they had to get the jaws of life out and extract them from the vehicle. But what Snowden Volunteer Fire Department did and South Montgomery Volunteer Fire Department did was just extraordinary. Giving him immediate emergency care. There were citizens there, Montgomery County citizens that pulled up to help. And it just really shows what kind of a community that we have here in Montgomery County.
And this was just one of those, like anytime anybody gets in a vehicle, it was one of those sort of freak accidents.
I mean, it's all it was.
Yeah.
We've read some of the things on social media that's just so inaccurate. It was just an accident. He ran off the road and hit a tree. He was going to assist fellow deputies on a call, and this young man just had an accident. That's all it was. He wasn't violating the law or policy. He was doing his job, and it was tragic, and it's horrible. What his family's going through, with the deputies and all of us as a community, but that's all it was, traffic accident.
And an outpouring support from the community, as well as I'm seeing statements here from Governor Ivey, Senator Britt, Doug Singleton, the chair of the commission, county commission, Hal Taylor with Aaliyah. And I mean, anytime you lose, well, anybody, it's tragic. And then when you see such a young man, I emphasize this, as you were saying, he was only 21. It's just, it breaks my heart to see. It really does.
It does. I stated just a moment ago that I've been through this before. When I was a young officer, and this happened to me in 1987, I lost 2 partners. They were killed by gunfire at the same scene. You can't make sense of it, but we all know, everyone that puts on a badge in this country, really in the entire world, knows the risks that are involved. And, obviously we drive 24/7. There's always units rolling, and there's always a risk involved in spending so much time behind the wheel of a car. But, one of the things that I said, the sheriff and I spoke to the deputies Saturday morning when we brought Jeremias home. The cruel reality of our profession is, just like in combat, when a soldier falls, you have to continue with the mission. And I want the citizens of Montgomery County, certainly Sheriff Cunningham and I, want them to know, we're going to continue the mission. We're going to continue public safety and serving the citizens of Montgomery County, answering calls, enforcing the law. Jeremias wouldn't want us to do anything any differently. And I want to reassure the public that we're not going to stop or slow down. The mission continues.
Now, if you don't want to go in this direction, but a thought, this is fine, but a thought came to my mind that, everybody grieves differently. But would you have advice for anybody, not only on the job, but those who knew him? Because you said you've been through this. Is there a advice you could give to folks?
Talk about it. Don't hold it in. That's one of the things that has gotten me through these horrible incidents in my career. And I've seen some, they hold it all in, and I'm pretty good at spotting that. And I don't let them. I talk to them and call them on the phone, check on them, go by and see them. But not talking about it is only going to make things worse. So we have a real strong support network at the sheriff's office. We have peer support groups, and we have a great chaplaincy. Steve Smith is retired. Steve and I go way back. The sheriff and I served with Steve at MPD. He retired from MPD and came to work at the sheriff's office and did a full 25 years with the sheriff, and now is retired from the sheriff's office. And he still volunteers his own time for the chaplaincy program. And we actually had a prayer vigil Thursday evening with the family at the sheriff's office, and Steve led that. So, I mean, we have a very strong support network, peer support, chaplaincy, but sometimes just the friendship that you have with others is really all you need. I've gotten a lot of phone calls, is there anything I can do? And I said, you just did it. You called me to check on me. That's all that matters, And that sometimes can mean so much to somebody, just to hear that voice on the other end of the phone, or like the lady did at the ball field Friday night, walked up to me and said some very kind things.
Well, I'm happy you're here today to talk about it, because selfishly, I wouldn't know what to say other than to read the reports. And it's just, as you've laid out, this guy, he was better than a lot of us, I'll put it that way. And I'm not just talking about those in law enforcement. From the little you've told us, you can go for it, folks, in that way. And it's just tragic to see. But I appreciate you being here today, Kevin.
I appreciate y'all having me. And I wasn't any different. When I was 21 years old, I wanted the world to see how tough I was and how strong. And I took myself seriously. And one of the things about Jeremias that really struck me was how genuine he was. He was really comfortable in his own skin. He had this infectious smile. And, I like to pat people on the back. I'm a back patter. Hey, how you doing? I'd pat him on the back. He'd pat me. Good, Chief. How are you? Well, I like that. You're a fellow back patter. But, he was so genuine in when he volunteered at one of our events. He was in the middle of all of it, helping out. And just a week and a half ago, we had a picnic for the Explorer post. And then afterward, they played a little kickball. And he was out there with these young kids playing kickball. And I remember joking with him afterward. I said, that didn't seem really fair. You were kind of picking on those little kids, beating them at this little kickball game. He just laughed, but he just had a great heart, a great spirit about him. Okay.
Yeah, and it's weird. I think we're getting a call here. Who is it?
Duke.
Hey, Duke, you're on.
How's it going, fellas?
Good.
I'm getting an echo some kind of way, Joey.
Well, I can hear you loud and clear. Go ahead.
Yes. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Murphy.
Thanks for calling.
I kind of remember you from when you used to ride a motorcycle. You used to drive motorcycles.
I did for about almost 6 years.
You gave me a little speed. A warning ticket. Yeah, you didn't give me a speed. You gave me a warning.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. You were very nice to me that day. But the reason I'm calling, sir, I appreciate what you're doing today. My wife lost a cousin out of Monroe County. Daly, last name was Daly. You remember him? About a couple years ago. He had kind of same accident, ran off the road like that.
Was that Al?
Justin. I think his name is Justin Daly.
It does sound familiar. I can't quite.
Yeah, young guy, and I just commend you guys sticking together. Even when Big John died, you guys, the sheriff department came together statewide and support the guys that that fall or whatever.
I appreciate that.
I just commend you for you coming on and expressing your thoughts about this young man.
Well, thank you. Thank you for calling.
Well, thank you.
I appreciate you. And also the good work you guys do. I'm going to always support you guys, regardless.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Duke.
All right. Have a good day.
See you, buddy.
Duke called and said that I had stopped him and given him a warning ticket. Back in probably the mid to late 90s, I was working a case for a woman who had her check stolen. Somebody forged it and cashed it at the bank. We were trying to determine the suspect. She looked at me and said, "You remember me?" I said, "I'm sorry, I don't." She said, "Well, this was like 1996. She said, "In 1987, you pulled me over, wrote me a warning." And I said, "Oh, well, how'd I do?" She said, "Oh, you were very polite." And something occurred to me. There's no way you can remember all the people you stopped because there's thousands of them, literally. they never forget you. Never.
But of course.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And I wrote a lot of warnings in my career.
That's good to know.
And to those out there I wrote tickets to, well, I was just doing my job.
Let's go to Ken Mullinex, I believe, is on the line. Hey, Ken.
Hey, gentlemen. Hey, Kevin, how are you, bud?
Hey, good, Ken. How are you?
I'm well. Hey, we're talking about this officer, and certainly sad to hear about him, but when I heard you had Kevin Murphy on, I wanted to call and say something nice about him. I may be the only guy, Kevin, you never pulled over. Maybe I was just driving too fast. I don't know. But, Joey, you and your crew may not know this, but a few years back when Kevin was chief of police of Montgomery, he showed up at one of our Congressman John Lewis events where we brought members of Congress to look at all the various things.
I remember.
To do with civil rights. And Kevin Murphy gave John Lewis his badge. He took his badge off his uniform at First Baptist Church, Black First Baptist Brickaday Church, took his badge off, gave it to John Lewis, and apologized for all of the mayhem and chaos that occurred from the police department way back before Kevin Murphy was ever there, back in the bad old days. And it made the New York Times, it went everywhere, and it was just a testament to how Montgomery has changed over the years for the better. And so a lot of people don't know that nowadays, and I've never forgot it. And I just wanted to share that with y'all and say, well done, Kevin Murphy.
Well, thank you, Ken. Enjoy your vacation. Are you about to leave here soon, aren't you?
Well, in June when I turned 65, yeah, that's right. We spoke about that.
Okay.
I'm gonna sneak off to Hawaii for 2 weeks.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
Yeah. But
You should
anyway,
be going
guys,
right now,
I want...
Ken. The eclipse coming, you would get sunburned.
You know, when is it supposed to happen here?
Right
gentlemen?
now.
Supposed to be happening now. Yeah.
Well, I just drove. I'm outside somewhere. I'm gonna get my glasses out and see if I can see a little partial something. But Kevin Murphy is a whole lot more than a law enforcement officer. He's a hell of a guy.
I agree.
And thanks, Kevin, for doing what you did for us.
Very kind for calling.
Thank you, Ken.
All right, y'all.
See you,
Be
Ken.
good.
And I second everything Mr. Mullinex just said there. And all my dealings with you, Kevin, well, solid is a word, and I could use better ones, but I think solid is the word comes to mind.
Said, I'm intimidated around you, Joe. You're Mensa smart, so
I don't know about that.
My vocabulary goes from about 25 words to maybe 50.
Kevin, all you have to do is bring in a female deputy. And
Yeah, I'd turn into a.
Yeah,
you know.
you're good.
Well, I'm sorry I don't measure up.
But I do appreciate your time today, Kevin. I really
You
do.
bet.
Thank you, Kevin.
And folks, we're going to hit this break, and I'll pull up and leave on the screen here this picture of Jeremias Young. Rest in peace, sir.
Good man.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Erdit. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy or blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to GAWon'tWait.com.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values.
Well, I'm here with Miss Dot at the Eastbrook Flea Market and Antique Mall. Well, Dot, spring is here.
We're heading into spring, and I'm so glad. We've got some furniture coming in, some spring and summer furniture. It's not coming in too fast, but it's beginning to trickle in. You know, we're just busy, is all I can say, and I'm thankful for that.
It looks to me like you have a lot of items for outside.
We do. We've got the wrought iron furniture, patio things, and booth 70 in the window had a swing, and it was just beautiful. I expect he'll have another one, too.
You know, there are a lot of treasures in Eastbrook Flea Market and Antique Mall to be found.
Yes, if you don't see it here, you didn't need it anyway.
All right, give us those hours of operation.
Monday through Friday is 10 until 6, Saturday 9 until 6, and Sunday 12:30 to 4:30.
That's the Eastbrook Flea Market and Antique Mall, 425 Coliseum Boulevard.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Really do appreciate Chief Deputy Kevin Murphy stopping by.
Yes, sir.
And, well, the show must go on.
Yep.
334-272-9228 if you want to join in on the program. What are you looking for?
See if it's getting any darker.
No, it's not really.
Not really, no. According to the television, it is, but there's a little darker there than it was 10 minutes ago with them. But
yeah, I think it'll be a little more progressive as the hours go on here in our area. Where it'll be a pretty good coverage.
Yeah, I think around 2 o'clock is our prime, I think.
What do you think of the folks sort of like freaking out like this is a once-in-a-lifetime event? I don't blame the science nerds.
Right.
There are some true astronomy nerds out there, or astrology pseudoscience.
Yeah.
But I don't really blame those folks because they kind of live and die science
That's what
and
they
this
live and
sort
die
of stuff.
for. It's their Super Bowl.
But, I mean, like if you had no desire to go get into the actual path?
No. And I know people that did, and, you know, more power to them, but no, I could care less, to be
Well,
quite
and it is amazing how eclipses used to, because people couldn't
Well, you
predict
didn't
them.
know.
Like, I think there's one in Greek history where it stopped a war.
See, I can see that.
Where it happened during the battle, and everybody freaked out like this must be a sign.
Well, imagine how when we have tornadic weather come through, and you see how people react to that. Because
Sure, man.
You just don't know. All of a sudden, the world looks like the world's ending.
And I've told this story before. I was listening to Stephen Fry's retelling of Greek mythology, and you hear about Poseidon and so many of the ocean stories, and I'm like, yeah, it's cool. And then it just so happened I'm down visiting my dad. We went out on the water, just in the bay, with the lights off at night.
It's cool, isn't it?
And it made you go, especially in the stars and the feeling the water around you.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, I kind of get it.
You are a speck. I mean, you quickly realize, holy crap.
And something like the ocean feels like it's alive.
Yeah.
And it's bigger and much more powerful than you
Definitely.
and all this stuff. So, well, enjoy yourself if you're out there nerding out about the eclipse. Again, our number 334-272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. And appreciate all the love online, everybody watching online, especially the X platform. You can watch folks at the Joey Clark or Joey Clark Live on YouTube. I think we're getting close to 10,000 subscribers there on YouTube.
Really?
Which is pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
Let's go to Eric. Hey, Eric. Eric, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Y'all need to go outside with a welding helmet and you can see it.
With a what helmet?
A welding helmet.
Oh, yeah. So you
A
can
welding helmet.
Watch without going.
Oh, yeah.
Need one of those. It's about halfway right now.
Would you be surprised if I told you I don't own a welding helmet?
I would be surprised if I put one in front of you and you didn't, and you knew what it was. That would be surprising.
Actually, my grandfather's got one.
Okay, because if you've never seen a welding helmet,
he's got a
you
low.
wouldn't know.
He's got a low grade one.
Right. Harbor Freight.
It's one of those hats that usually has flames on it and stuff. And
oh yeah, one of those.
One of those really one of those nice ones. It's got a really dark front and you can't see.
Yeah.
No, you wear it on your little hog you ride around in your chaps.
You wear it on your do.
Where I wear it is none of your business.
That's fair. That's fair. Free country. Sorry I even asked.
All right. Hey, I'm really sorry about that deputy guy. I was talking to a buddy of mine that's a volunteer fireman, and or he is actually, and I was listening to the call when they were bringing him into Baptist South. They were going to life light him, but they couldn't get the life light there before they could get him to Baptist South. So, but that was really neat to see how. I mean, wildly unfortunate, but seeing how all those guys communicated over the radio and put their resources together and closed down the roads and got him in there as fast as they did to try to do what they could.
Well, and it's something I'm constantly being reminded of. As crazy as the long-term trends and the big things, the macro picture that the country's going through right now, you get reminded of how we're doing all right, and more than all right. We're doing amazing things every day. Just the good stuff doesn't often make the news.
Right.
No. I mean, those are guys that'll lay down their life for you. I get a little ticky because of my Fourth Amendment and some of that stuff. But, when it comes to somebody shooting at you and you needing help from somebody that's trained to help you, you can't beat those guys, especially the sheriff.
That's it.
So I ain't got nothing else to say. So y'all have a nice afternoon. And
okay, buddy.
Don't stare at the sun without a welding helmet.
Give it a go.
All right.
Thank you, Eric. Adios. Let's go to Master Thespian.
Hello.
Hello.
All I'm going to say is if any strange plants show up on your doorstep, do not bring it into the house. Do not feed it. That's the major plot point of Little Shop of Horrors. When a solar eclipse happened, a strange plant showed up and mayhem ensued.
Well, I'll be sure. I'm supposed to get some packages today, but I'll double check, see if there's anything else in there.
Packages are fine. Just don't take any plants.
No plants.
Right. And by the way, we're over 10,000 subscribers, Eddie.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
I'm liking that.
Rocking it.
All right. Well, I'm at the event here at AUM. They've got some telescopes out and a bunch of people out, so we're going to have some eclipse fun today.
Are you noticing anything outside just yet?
The shadows are starting to look a little strange.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the first things that happens, that you got that the sunlight filtering through the leaves. And
Yeah.
Things are starting to look a little weird.
The birds
And
starting
you
to
can
chirp?
tell it's- Do what?
Are the birds starting to chirp? Like they're heading to roost?
I'm not hearing any birds.
Okay.
So,
And we're seeing a live shot from NASA in Kerrville, Texas, and
Yeah.
the full eclipse.
It's just
wow.
dark as night, man.
That's insane.
That's just dark as night.
well, it'll get pretty dark here. I mean, we're supposed to be near 80%, according to
Yeah,
Uncle Weather.
80-something percent. So this ought to be
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, no wonder this would freak people out over the
What,
generations.
you're just
Like,
walking down
that's
the road and
not-
all of a sudden...
That is like, we expected it, but just seeing it on the TV there, that's wow.
Oh, in the middle of it. If it gets dark, halfway dark like that here, you're going to be like, it's kind of creepy. Can we turn the lights back on?
All right.
Well, that's the story about how Columbus was going to be attacked by a bunch of natives, and he said, hey, you leave me alone or I'm going to make the sun go dark. And they laughed at him, but he was apparently a science geek. He knew there was going to be a solar eclipse. And sure enough, it happened, and they freaked out, and, The rest, as they say, is history.
Well, turn around, Bright Eyes.
Yep.
Turn around.
Bye, guys.
See you, bud.
272-9228. Like I said earlier, hey, this part of the program brought to you by River Region Contracting. And there at River Region Contracting, Todd Clark and his team are ready to help you out with your roof.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason they're called the premier roofing contractor here in the area, because whether you have an asphalt or a metal roof, they're ready to help you out. And not only do they do an amazing job with repairs, they like to educate their customers on their roofs so you can stay up to date with it. But we can do a little bit of that here on the radio.
Right.
They've provided me with the knowledge. Manufacturers suggest whether asphalt or metal roof every 3 to 5 years for basic preventative maintenance. You need an inspection every 3 to 5 years.
Yep.
But we've been suggesting here on the show that in Alabama elements, in the climate we have around here, probably do it every year.
I think you should.
Especially if you have a lot of tree growth overhead and things that can fall on the roof in ways you don't suspect necessarily. Yeah. Why not get it checked out? And here's the great news. The inspections and estimates from River Region Contracting are always free.
Absolutely free, Joey.
And those estimates are accurate.
Have been for me every time.
They show up on time.
Done that for me every time.
They get the job done well, and they don't leave a big mess behind.
That's what I really appreciate. No flat tires.
Right. So, or sometimes you'll see like old like Gatorade bottles, soda, lunch.
Oh, yeah. You just see the
like fast food wrapping and stuff.
But not with them at all, man.
Not with River Region Contracting. And also great news, folks, they're insurance specialists. So if they do find a problem with your roof, your insurance company might cover. They can walk you through that claims process and make it a swift and pleasurable experience, not something people usually associate with insurance claims, but they're just that good there.
I've seen them do it.
At River Region Contracting. So call them today. That number 356-8635. That's 356-8635. And be sure to tell them that, well, Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you. You got to get out of here?
Yeah, got to go. Daddy's got to go to work.
Please don't refer to yourself in like...
Daddy's got to go to work.
That's just creepy.
Daddy's got to go to work.
Like, you can't pull that off.
I'm going to work on it. I'm working on it.
Daddy's got to do this.
Daddy got to do this.
Now, if I heard you say Papa's got a brand new bag, like that makes a little more sense.
That's what Daddy's going to get, that brand new bag.
Okay, no, you can't pull that off. Anyway, have a good day.
All right,
maybe I'll see you tomorrow. Maybe, maybe not.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see. I appreciate it, though.
Thank you, brother.
More news and views after this.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Medical Outreach Ministries is a free healthcare clinic providing primary and specialty care for uninsured low-income adults in our area. MOM sees almost 1,000 patients annually who are attended to by volunteers, including physicians, nurses, and pharmacists. Please call 334-281-8008 or visit momclinic.org to learn how you might qualify for our services, volunteer, or donate to this vital community service.
Now you can add the power of digital advertising to the #1 reach of radio. Let Blue Water's 20 years of local advertising and marketing success show you how. Grow your business with a complete suite of digital solutions, combined with the reach of the most listened to radio group in the River Region. Call us or go to BlueWaterBroadcasting.com to find out how we can increase your return on investment. Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by the Johnny Adams Law Firm. They want you to stay safe on the road. Please don't text and drive. Get to your destination safely. Your family and friends will thank you. From the Johnny Adams Law Firm.
Well, hi, everybody. Yes, there will be a sun and cloud mix today, but I'm cautiously optimistic that we'll get some decent eclipse viewing. The ending is at 3:17 in the afternoon. Nice warm day today, high 81. Risk of showers holding off till late tonight in the overnight hours, low 61. Widely scattered showers possible tomorrow, high 77. Then rain and thunderstorms Wednesday. It's a big deal storm system. Locally, very heavy rainfall, severe weather potential, high 75. Maybe some leftover showers on Thursday, first half of the day, high 75. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
The River Region's News Talk Station. News Talk 93.1, WACV. News Talk 93.1.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Yeah, and we're seeing more and more images of the path of totality. Pretty incredible stuff. And it is affecting a lot of the country, too. But that one huge path, 478 miles of darkness just covering Texas alone. Clouds could spoil solar eclipse, though, for millions. Ooh, that would sting. Like, you pay all those travel costs, you get set up in the right spot, and, well, cloud cover is a little too much. But, well, what an event. I'm just fine watching it right here on the TV screen, because I don't have the proper equipment to go look at it with the naked eye. And that is something biblical. That is something mythological right there, but it is realer than most things in this world today. Good to be reminded how small we are compared to the forces around us. Again, 272-9228 if you want to get in on the program. Now, going to Alabama news, there's one representative, State Rep Lipscomb. I wonder if he's related to the former Archbishop. Anyway, he says the state of Alabama feeling the quote-unquote side effects of abandoning traditional bid-build process for design build on prison construction. Oh, you better believe it. But it's been 919 days since the Alabama legislature adjourned sine die in the 2021 special session for new prison construction. At the time, the stated reason for the impromptu special session was to set aside $1.3 billion in funding and expedite a process for the construction of 2 new prisons, one in Elmore County, the other in Escambia County, while the federal government was investigating the Alabama Department of Corrections for Eighth Amendment violations. Nearly 3 years later, the price tag for the Elmore County facility has ballooned to more than $1 billion, meaning the legislature will have to come up with additional funding for the eventual construction of the Escambia County facility. The timeline for completion of either remains unclear as well. Well, we better get on it, because I don't normally agree with the feds or the DOJ, but the more you look at prisons here in this state, it's like a particular circle of hell. It really is awful what is happening in Alabama prisons. It's not necessarily for lack of trying. It's just, I would say, years and years and years of neglect that have built up. But the state implemented a design build plan for the Elmore County facility, which means the project's costs evolve as the design process leads to construction. It is a deviation from the state's traditional method of the bid build process, in which bids are submitted, and from that a price is set in stone for the lowest qualified bidder before work begins. In a recent interview with Jeff Poore, a state rep Craig Lipscomb, he's from Gadsden. He's a practicing architect and graduate of Auburn University's College of Architecture, Design, and Construction. He discussed the design build process and why it made sense for the new state house being constructed by the RSA, but not the new prisons. I think the state house is a unique thing, Lipscomb told Jeff Poore. We're not utilizing state funds or state resources of any kind to do that particular project. That's a third party. But as it relates to anything else in the world, I'm a big fan of the traditional bid process. I feel like you get the thing fully designed. You put it in front of a bunch of contractors, and the most qualified one with the lowest price is the winner at the end of the day. It's tried and true. It's been done for 1,000,000 years. I like it. The design build process works when you have a contractor that's utilized on a regular basis, especially if you're reproducing a product you've done numerous times or something similar. I didn't like that format, Lipscomb continued, and I made that comment from the very beginning. I don't like the way that was handled. It means you don't get a locked-in number on the front end. That troubles me, you know? And I think we're seeing the side effects of that at the moment. I tend to agree with this fella. Especially when cost overruns, it's now the builder has an incentive of saying, oh, it's going to cost more. And with inflation, especially when it comes to construction materials and basic inputs to get that done, inflation through the roof. Oh, but the rate of inflationary growth is slowed. Yeah, but we still are at astronomical levels compared to where we were just a few years ago when Alabama first took out this bond to build 2. Now that bond will really only cover 1, which is just baffling, boggles the mind. But according to Lipscomb, had the state of Alabama relied on the traditional build process, construction would likely have been further along. I don't know that we've ever done that process before, but I think the reasoning for that was the expediency of the project. The feds were hammering us. We've got to get this done. I would have to believe that if we had done the traditional build process, then what you would have seen is some incentive to get that done more efficiently and more expeditiously or quicker, because the contractor is losing more expediently, and they're losing money every day. They're not on the job site. Clearly, this is a little different in that. I don't know what the terms of the contracts are. Forgive me for not knowing that, but I would guess that it is why it is dragging on a bit, because there's some squish down there somewhere. Exactly right, sir. Yes, when you create the wrong incentives for people, whether it's a contractor building a billion-dollar prison, or it's maybe members of Congress and how they have to get their money to stay in office, the wrong incentives can lead to some pretty heinous outcomes. That's unfortunate. Now, in other Alabama news, we have the House, the Alabama State House. They've passed an anti-squatting bill. Now, I thought we had already established last week on the show that Alabama's laws on squatting are already pretty damn strong. They're just maybe, in certain situations, not enforced very well. But apparently, the House of Representatives said we need to make our laws even stronger. They passed legislation last Thursday that would give property owners and law enforcement tools to deal with individuals who illegally occupy the homes of others, these folks often called squatters. House Bill 182 increases penalties for individuals who enter a residence that is not theirs. It also increases the penalty for anyone who presents a falsified document that they claim to be a lease, deed, or other instrument authorizing ownership or occupancy. Again, State Rep Craig Lipscomb, the bill's sponsor, brought it before the House floor, stating that while squatting is not a pervasive issue in Alabama, as it is in other states, he wanted to be proactive, not reactive. Lipscomb went on to say, currently in our nation, we're experiencing an epidemic of individuals who are finding themselves on people's properties, and we're having difficulty establishing who has the right to be where they should be and where they should not be. This has become even more evident as we have even had illegal aliens within the nation who would be TikTok influencers explaining to millions of followers how they can illegally squat upon the premises of rightful property owners. What this bill will do is it will address the situation before it becomes an epidemic in the state of Alabama. The bill would also add a definition of the state's classification of third-degree burglary if an individual remains unlawfully in a dwelling and intentionally causes $1,000 or more in damage. The legislation received bipartisan support in the House, with several Democrats thanking Lipscomb for introducing it. However, some Democrats clarified that the bill was not targeting the homeless. The legislation passed unanimously, with 82 House members adding their names to the bill as co-sponsors. Well, there you go. Things that we can actually agree on here in the great state of Alabama. And coming up after a very quick break, we have more information on this IVF clinic that was in the middle of this, not just legal case, but now this national propaganda campaign, if I could put it mildly. We all are dealing with propaganda campaigns these days. Some of us might even engage in some. That's the way of the world as we see it today. But this IVF clinic is now saying what you're seeing is often a scare tactic. No, we're not closing down. In fact, we have so much demand for our services, we're expanding here in the state of Alabama. Great write-up and great report by 1819's Erica Thomas we'll get to in just a moment. But first, this part of the program brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And they're at Alabama Home Mortgage, Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon. Well, they're ready to help you out whether you're looking to buy a home, especially if you're a first-time home buyer. They can walk with you every step of the way from pre-approval all the way to closing day. Or maybe this isn't your first home purchase, but you've dealt with the big banks. You've dealt with the national companies. You want somebody local, somebody you can trust, somebody that's actually going to get to know you and your goals in owning a home, and that is Alabama Home Mortgage. And, of course, they can also help you with a great refinance deal. If you're sitting under mountains of credit card debt, it's weighing down on you, you're not even making minimum payments, like it's just building up, building up, building up. If you have equity in your home, even with higher interest rates, you should look into a great refinance deal through Alabama Home Mortgage. And if you're a veteran, they know the latest with the VA home loan programs, whether you're buying or refining. It's the best game in town. Veterans, you earn these benefits through your service. Better take advantage of them and not leave money on the table. So that number for Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Call them today. That's 567-4223. Or you can always apply online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies like Kim and Madeline. Prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender. I believe Madeline Cannon will, in fact, be joining the show tomorrow. Look forward to seeing her.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
In Alabama, more than 200,000 of our family members and friends are living without health coverage. Often folks can't stay healthy enough to keep their jobs. We need to fix this. It's time for us to find a way to close the health care coverage gap so that folks can remain in their jobs. Where there's a priority out there, we as Alabamians have always found a way to achieve it. Contact Governor Kay Ivey and let her know. Now is the time to close the coverage gap and cover Alabama.
Paid for by the American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Live local talk, the River Region's only 24-hour News Talk FM station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Joining us now on the phone, the one, the only, Michael Cohen of Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Hey, Michael, how you doing?
Hey, Joey, how are you?
I'm doing well, surviving the eclipse. I hope you are.
Yeah, we're out here trying to look at it now.
You seen anything?
I see a little sliver of light.
Okay, well, some of the images I'm seeing on the TV from NASA, like that, of the total eclipse, that is something that, no wonder people get a little crazy when they see these things. That's unreal.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, we were smoking dope or something. I mean, maybe that would make it a bigger deal. but the rest of us are in retail, so.
Good old Pink Floyd memories there in college.
Yeah, to be young again.
So, you said you just had somebody come by checking out some of the furniture, some of the chairs you have there at Cohen's.
Actually, he came in to buy some appliances.
Okay.
He used to be a builder. He's retired, but he came in, and on his way out, his daughter picked out one of the little Palliser chairs. They fell in love with it. He liked the color. The color was easy just to give him that one off the floor. And we loaded it in his truck, and he ought to be back to Auburn by now.
All right.
Yeah. So it's so nice to have the customers that have the confidence in Cohen's that they can just pick something up on a whim and take it. Although lots of them call us on the phone and ask us questions. We ask them questions. We make recommendations. They check it out online, see a picture of it, and we send it out, and they get it the next day. So, we're very fortunate that our customers do have the confidence and trust in Cohen's.
Well, and I'm pulling up the website on the live stream right now. Folks, that's thinkcohens.com, and maybe you don't have the big old truck to haul some piece of furniture, a big chair. They've got that there at Cohen's. And, of course, for a lot of your bigger appliances and electronics, y'all can deliver and help set that up and even say tote away an old refrigerator, right?
Exactly. I mean, and we don't charge any extra to haul off your old appliance or TV if we're installing a new one. So it works out good for the customers. You can't really put your refrigerator out on the corner.
Right.
It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So,
I don't think the city or the county would like that very much.
No. They don't like that stuff.
Well, folks, like I said, you can go to thinkcohens.com, but I really encourage you to stop by 2515 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery. They're open 9 to 6 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturdays. And when you stop by, be sure to find Michael or one of the great team members and say, "Hey, we heard Michael on the radio with that Joey fella."
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michael. Again, folks, Michael Cohen, always great talking to him. Fantastic sponsor here of the program. I might have to, in just a minute or so, when the segment's up, peek my head outside, see if I can see much anything. Go blind, You sit too close to the TV. That was a crock of crap. I sat close to the TV. I can see just fine. Well, I did get LASIK. Maybe Benjamin Rush's theory on how people go blind is true. I'm not blind yet. I'll put it that way. Coming up, I mentioned it earlier. Congressman Mike Rogers from Sax, Alabama, was here in Montgomery last week visiting the Chamber of Commerce, and he was giving an update on the war in Ukraine and how the $60 billion that's now being discussed as the Congress comes back from their Easter recess, that we just got to do it. And unfortunately, we've got a lot of ignorant and stupid members who just are, they're not made. Some of them are stupid, but most of them are ignorant on this issue. And if they just listened to somebody like Representative Rogers, they would see the light and they would sign that check, put their name on the dotted line on behalf of the American people to give to the Ukrainian people. Rogers went on to talk about, with Todd Stacy on his show Capitol Journal, I think it was in the same venue there at the chamber. Todd interviewed him on the scene there. He got into how the media landscape has changed. And no doubt, Mike Rogers is onto something with how the media landscape has changed. But I think it goes deeper than mere change in media, more voices out there on social media or in cable news. I think we're seeing a bigger shift in this country. Again, I would put my finger on it as there are a lot of everyday Americans who just do not trust the elites, including foreign policy elites. Now, does that distrust tend to tilt towards a younger cohort of the population? Sure. I think there are still a lot of folks, say 65 and up, who tend to trust what they see on TV. But there are a lot of Americans, and I would credit Donald Trump with sort of breaking the old Republican Party, that are now questioning what they're being told by their leaders, maybe even leaders they still respect at the end of the day. So in a second, I'm going to read an op-ed that will come out tomorrow for 1819 News about the strange times we live in and about what we can do about it. Y'all stay tuned. Again, 272-9228 if you want to get in on the program. I'm going to try to go peek outside here and see what I can see of the sun. We'll be right back.
Joey Clark.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. The total solar eclipse crossing North America is darkening skies along a path through Mexico, the U.S., and Canada. Totality will last up to 4 minutes, 28 seconds in certain spots. The first location in continental North America that experienced totality, Mexico's Pacific coast. Former President Trump says he believes abortion should be left to the states. The presumptive Republican presidential nominee released a video outlining his position. Mr. Trump says whatever the states decide must be the law of the land, in this case, the law of the state. In consumer news, the price of gasoline is up 20 cents higher than a month ago. On Wall Street, the Dow had 39 points, the Nasdaq adding 25. This is SRN News.
Our government has engorged itself on borrowed money. Now we are over $30 trillion in debt. If this bubble finally implodes, many Americans will be left penniless and heartbroken. For example, what happens if state and federal pension funds go broke? Or if 401ks and IRAs get cut in half due to hyperinflation? Hi, I'm Lance Wallnow, news analyst, best-selling author, and evangelical leader to millions of people just like you. People who understand something big is coming. Now's the time to prepare with a physical gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. Precious metals are among the most proven hedges you can make. And they're even better inside a tax advantage account. To get a free info kit on gold IRAs, text the word FAITH, F-A-I-T-H, to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and see why a gold IRA can help you. There are no strings attached, so just text FAITH to the number 989898 right now, and I pray you are blessed with continued prosperity.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by Clark Heating, Air, and Plumbing. It's time to get your cooling system ready for the long, hot summer. Call today about the advantages of the Clark Club membership to be sure you're covered. Call 277-2125. Better call Clark. Alabama certification number 09098.
Well, hi, everybody. Yes, there will be a sun and cloud mix today, but I'm cautiously optimistic that we'll get some decent eclipse viewing. The ending is at 3:17 in the afternoon. Nice warm day today, high 81. Risk of showers holding off till late tonight in the overnight hours, low 61. Widely scattered showers possible tomorrow, high 77. Then rain and thunderstorms Wednesday. It's a big deal storm system. Locally, very heavy rainfall, severe weather potential, high 75. Maybe some leftover showers on Thursday, first half of the day, high 75. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Whether you're buying a home or auto or consolidating debt, CB&S Bank's personal loans get you where you need to go. Go to cbsbank.com to find a location near you or apply online today. All loans subject to credit approval, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
1819 News.
The majority leader for the Alabama House, Scott Stadhagen, is coming out strong against unionization here in the state. Stadhagen writes an opinion piece for 1819 News in which he says the United Auto Workers Union is selling snake oil to the hard workers here in Alabama within auto manufacturing plants. Stadhagen says his opinion is based on experience that started in his childhood when a family member worked at a factory. Stadhagen says the unions make promises of getting more for the workers without revealing how much those workers will pay in order to establish the union leaders, many of which have been convicted of financial crimes in the last 5 years. Stadhagen also listed the history of unions being here in Alabama in other industries where the unions ultimately voted to close down the plants, leaving Alabamians without jobs. He says the unions are the biggest multi-level marketing scams in the country, and Stadhagen does not want Alabama to be their next target. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
I'm Amy Beth Shaver with Alabama Unfiltered Radio, and when I need the news and I need it fast, I turn to Andrea Tice and the Daily Detail. On my way in, it is the most convenient, best way for me to digest what's going on so that I can use it for our show. She tells you what's going on in Alabama that day first and fast. So listen to the Daily Detail with Andrea Tice. Don't miss out.
The Daily Detail is available wherever podcasts are found.
Police in Jefferson County are looking into a weekend shooting in Adamsville that left one person dead. The shooting victim is identified as 52-year-old Patrick Johnson. The Centerville mayor is telling ABC 3340 News that a man who drowned in the Cahaba River was running from police and either fell or jumped into that river. The drowning victim has been identified as 27-year-old Tristan Shepard. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Call Prune Masters, the professional pruners with over 30 years of experience, and that's all they do. To find out how you can get your hedges professionally pruned, call 220-2200 for a free estimate. Prune Masters, 220-2200.
How are you going to use your tax refund? New flooring? New countertops? Carroll's Carpet Flooring America is locally owned and operated by local experts, so you can achieve the most beautiful and updated looks while supporting your community. You'll enjoy personalized service that you'll not find anywhere else. They can make your dreams come true with top-of-the-line hardwood, carpet, laminate, tile, and luxury vinyl. They have everything you need in flooring. Go to carrollscarpetmontgomery.com or visit their showroom on the Northeastern Boulevard.
Hi, this is Carl Schmidt, naturopath and owner of the Herb Shop. Listen every Saturday to Winning Wellness and learn from experts in different fields of science and technology how nutritional supplements can help you.
Listen to Winning Wellness every Saturday at 10 a.m.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Hey, mister, I don't mean to be telling tales out of school, but there's a feller in there who'll pay you $10 if you sing into his can. I'm not here to make a record, you dumb cracker. They broadcast me out on the radio.
Hold on to your butts.
Joey Clark.
Welcome to the final hour of the program. Here locally, we call it News and Views. Online, we've been calling it Joey Clark Live. You can go to Joey Clark Live on YouTube, like and subscribe, or go to @TheJoeyClark on the X platform. A lot of folks watching on X today, and I appreciate all the love. And I will say, though I am about to talk about one of Alabama's own, Congressman Mike Rogers, who's been there, by the way, folks, since 2002. 22 years up there in the United States Congress. No wonder the man serves as one of the most powerful people in Washington, being chair of the House Armed Services Committee. But indeed, it is a strange disposed time, but men may construe things after their fashion, clean from the purpose of the things themselves. Politicians rarely pursue their purposes independent from the necessities they face. Prudence demands they respond to practical incentives rather than fall on the sword of their principles. Put differently, the practicality may be the truest and sharpest principle in politics, allowing political practitioners to cut loose the creeping cowardice of conscience, fashioning their choices as if they had no choice at all. In normal times, such a practical approach rarely invites controversy or confusion. Political normalcy breeds a stable and dominant incentive structure that all politicians must accept as the only game in town, leading to a fairly smooth and predictable process for power to be administered. But normalcy only lasts so long. A given game may be dominant for a short time, even a few generations. But eventually, the same game develops blind spots, sowing the seeds of its own destruction and ushering in strange times. In strange times, wherein once trusted institutions and dominant interest begin fading in power and prestige, practicality can then cut in many different directions, revealing new paths for ambition to tread. Such a cycle is largely inevitable, and Americans are in the midst of such a cyclical change. Strange times have befallen the United States to much controversy, confusion, division, and dissent. America's apple of discord was in part revealed in recent comments from Alabama's Representative Mike Rogers. Ukraine is the sticker, Rogers told the Montgomery Area Chamber of Commerce regarding the funding of the Ukrainian war. Here's the problem. We have some ignorant members. They're not stupid. Some of them are stupid. Most of them are just ignorant about the topic. Rogers continued his laments in an interview with Capital Journal's Todd Stacy, blaming the changed media landscape as the cause of American discord. Quote, I'm of the opinion cable TV and social media is what's really driving this problem because in cable TV, these different cable news networks, they're so-called news. They're really opinion networks. They pick a business model that goes after a certain demographic. They really pander to that, and they keep them stirred up, keep the eyeballs on the TV. All that stuff creates hostility itself, but social media is just taking gas and throwing it on the fire. We have members where their sole source of funding is online. Fundraising is online. And the way they get the online contributions is do something outrageous on camera, whether it's on the floor with the media that they can tweet out to get the small dollar donors. They raised enormous sums of money doing it. So I don't know the answer. I don't think social media is going away anytime soon or cable TV networks, but it has really distorted the process. In my mind, Rogers is only partially correct. The media landscape has changed. The performative outrage machine is very real. But the crucible all Americans face seems too scalding to be reduced to an outgrowth of social media and cable news. Divisive and dismissive propaganda didn't begin in 2010 or with cable news or social media. Rogers' branding of those who disagree with establishment foreign policy goals as ignorant or stupid is just another tired example of the disparagement tactics so characteristic of the shoddy discourse surrounding American foreign policy. Rogers' tactics aren't all that different from those he criticizes, nor are his motivations. Rogers is responding to incentives and interest, including monetary incentives from the traditional donor class, just as much as the next guy in politics, or maybe more so given he's the chairman of one of the most powerful committees in Congress. That said, I would never reduce Rogers down to being a paid stooge for the military-industrial complex. I must believe that the man is more complex than an uncharitable caricature. I don't know him, but I'm willing to believe Mike Rogers is earnest in his preferred policy outcomes, genuinely frustrated by congressional dysfunction, and probably much more clever and hardworking than the average bear. A workhorse, not a show horse, as they say. I am also willing to believe Rogers sincerely wants to see the United States prosper and secured against any potential threats the nation may face. And if the United States is to brave the ominous horizons of AI, quantum computing, or the race to dominate low Earth orbit or even the moon, we'll probably need the insights and experiences of someone like Rogers. The crucible we face as a nation, it takes all types. That said, in the spirit of goodwill, I'm prepared to issue an apology. Congressman Rogers, Mike, I'm sorry I compared you to Liz Cheney, especially in appearance. I also apologize for making a cheap wisecrack about your hair. If you say it's real, I believe you. However, sir, when you spout the conventional Beltway foreign policy wisdom on Ukraine, I, like millions of my fellow Americans, do not believe you anymore. It isn't personal. The majority of the GOP base disagrees with the American foreign policy establishment on Ukraine. Maybe we disbelieve to our own detriment, but I am simply describing reality here. Americans feel betrayed by their political elite, especially the foreign policy elite. That is the American apple of discord. Everyday folks have watched these last 20 years with dismay, leading to immense distrust in all major American institutions, becoming far too familiar with America's bodyguard of lies and all her foreign policy adventures. Yes, propaganda will always be part of the anarchic game of geopolitics. But as you know, there isn't one sole propaganda game in town any longer. Mind you, new media isn't just for obnoxious tweets and performance art from the likes of AOC or MTG. Americans who disbelieve the conventional foreign policy narrative can now listen to long-form conversations like the one Lex Friedman had with Professor John Mearsheimer, or the one Tucker Carlson recently had with retired Army Colonel Douglas McGregor. They could do this without gatekeeping from corporate media, including cable news networks. Maybe Mearsheimer, McGregor, and other critics of conventional American foreign policy are mistaken in their assessments. Fair enough. But they remain more trustworthy than corporate news to millions of Americans. You should probably ask yourself why. To dismiss critics of American foreign policy as stupid or ignorant simply won't cut it any longer. After all, the critics aren't the ones who have been running the show for 2 decades. The necessities we face are shifting for all to see. The game is changing. Now that men may more freely construe things to their own fashion, if we are ever to get back to the purpose of things themselves, we may need to fall on our swords and resign ourselves to creating a new game together, rather than bemoaning the loss of old ways. 272-9228, if you want to hop in on the program. That will be released tomorrow as an op-ed for 1819 News. Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
This is Papa B.
Hey, Papa B, how you doing?
The sun's going behind the mountain.
The lunatic is on the grass.
It's a sign. Oh, no. It's an apocalyptic sign.
Yeah, seriously, I want to listen to the Dark Side of the Moon, at least the B-side. Woo.
Yeah, something. So anyway, Mike Rogers. I like Mike Rogers.
I don't know him. I disagree with him. I'll put it that way.
I mean, as in, I think he's doing a good job. Okay, so, but now, it kind of brings to mind this, this particular discussion that you're having. It brings to mind the, whole term limits debate to me, and although this is a diversion, there's a downside to term limits that you have to acknowledge, and that is, man, somebody that's been up there a while, if you're mandatorily losing them, there is a brain trust, at least of experience, that you're losing.
Sure.
And you're having to start all the way. That might be good, that might not be good. I don't know. I'd say a 50-50 tie in most instances. But anyway, I think Mike Rogers did a pretty good job. I really wanted to talk about this Eileen Cannon case.
Sure, go ahead.
Then in, Florida?
Yep.
Is that right?
Yeah, the documents case.
Okay, so, right. So, just a refresher. So, this is where the FBI went in there and they said, oh, Trump's got all these classified documents. Trump declassified them all. So there's this big argument. Well, were they declassified or were they not? Judge Napolitano and others have weighed in on the show. And so, the bottom line is, for me, the Supreme Court has already adjudicated this at the Clinton stocks drawer. The gavel is down on it. And unless and until they want to change that, then Trump has every right to do what he did. Not only that, but if they do change it, he was operating under the old gavel. So they really can't do anything about it. There's Jack Smith's character, as far as I can gather. Now, it's kind of, there's some things that are not clear. Exactly what is Trump charged with.
Well, and could I jump in here because his rationale keeps shifting, right? Where at first is it the document, the Espionage Act, or is it dealing with the National Archives, or is it a Biden executive order that's the basis for these charges?
He's just all over the map, man. Yeah. And not only, it sounds to me like he just wants to go ahead and have the trial and then, sign the crime. Right. That, to me, is kind of what is going on here. Or have the trial and see what else he can fish up. Moreover, the reason, all these people are complaining about Eileen Cannon, Judge Cannon, is because, she's just saying, look, you can't have your cake and eat it too, Jack Smith. Either you're going to go ahead and charge him with something, and, back up. he does not want the jury to see the classified documents. Unbelievable. So, he's just going to say, oh, they're classified, and the jury can't see them. That's ridiculous. Of course the jury can see them, So, it's just he's just fishing, and he doesn't have very good bait, to be honest with you. The only thing that's really going on here right now is just a big media event.
Yeah.
That's all. And there's nothing, obviously, there's nothing there for them to really convict on or anything. Had they had that, the DOJ at the national level would have done something, but they know they can't get anything done there. So they parceled out all these things to the state to have these show trials, and that's what's going on. But the very idea that Jack Smith is going to say, well, these files are classified. Well, let's see what you're talking about. No, they're classified. You can't see them, jury.
Just trust us that they are.
Yeah, just trust us. They are classified, and you just got to do what we say. What in the world is he talking about? So if anybody's under any kind of notion that this is a fair trial, let me disabuse them of that idea right up front. It's not. So anyway, there you go.
No, and I think this whole lawfare strategy is starting to backfire.
I think so.
It plays right in the idea that all they do is crap on Trump. They've been after Trump in an unfair way, even before he was sworn in as president.
And not only that, but that's kind of the way they have kept all of us in check all these years too, or anybody else that might want to challenge them on anything they might want to do. They own the court system. Not all of it, but enough of it to where they could use that power and influence to carry out their liberal agenda, in spite of the unconstitutionality of those agendas. Because who wants to go up there and spend a bunch of money being raked over the coals in court? Who has the money to do that?
Right.
So,
well, and they would love to have a situation like, I don't know if you've been following much of the fight between this judge in Brazil and Elon Musk over, X.
No, I haven't.
So there was a Supreme Court justice, Alexander de Moraes, I believe, let's say just some justice from Brazil. And he's ordered an investigation into Elon Musk after Musk vowed to defy a court order as part of an ongoing probe into social media accounts allegedly spreading misinformation and quote-unquote hate speech. He goes on to say the flagrant conduct of obstruction of Brazilian justice. Man, is it like the steakhouse? Incitement of crime, the public threat of disobedience of court orders, and future lack of cooperation with the platform are facts that disrespect the sovereignty of Brazil. Musk then called this judge Brazil's Darth Vader over the weekend.
Yeah, well, Brazil has gone to the dark side, not because they wanted to, but because they were defrauded in their last election too by all of these globalists. I guarantee, I'm telling you, we're going to find out that there were just not as many votes as they say there were for that other cat, and they're following the same pattern as the National Socialists over here, which is to jail their political opponents.
Yeah, and this is also an amazing time where you might have a rogue elite like Musk kind of overthrowing the power structure of a country. I think Musk said that this judge had brazenly and repeatedly betrayed the Constitution and people of Brazil, and he should be resigned or be impeached. And, that Musk's got a bigger platform than this judge does.
Well, and that is a sweet bit of justice there that comes down from folks like, Musk, who they're just not afraid, the little tin horn dictator type style, especially, well, anywhere really. So I'm glad to see it. All right, guys. Well, listen, enjoy the eclipse and the apocalypse come. I'm going to go put my tinfoil hat back on, okay?
All right. Appreciate it, Papa B. Don't look up too much.
All right, bye.
Again, 334-272-9228 if you want to hop in, just like Papa B did. Let's hit this break. We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
This is former Alabama Supreme Court Justice Glenn Murdoch. Alabama is a great place to live and work and raise our families because Alabamians are a good people of faith and traditional values. But a huge gambling bill in Montgomery would change our culture forever. Neon light casinos bringing more crime to our big cities and small towns, highly addictive cell phone betting, and the state selling the lie of lottery riches to the poor and most vulnerable. With all that's wrong in the world, this is no time to give up on our traditional values in Alabama. Call and ask your senator to be the leader you elected them to be, to stand strong and vote no on gambling, and keep the Alabama we know and love. Thank you.
Call your senator at 334-261-0800, 334-261-0800, 334-261-0800. Paid for by Alabama Eagle Forum, Box 130757, Birmingham.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com. This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
On FM, on your smartphone, and online, the River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Now, as the talk of lawfare against Donald John Trump continues, another criticism of a potential Trump presidency is that he's going to weaponize the justice system. And he said it. Don't you love how politics has dropped its pretenses? No, I've said many times on this show, the locker up crowd, I get where y'all are coming from, but how does that make my life better to see somebody in bars? Doesn't really. Seems a little masturbatory, pardon me. Doesn't accomplish much. I'll put it that way. I would much rather just give pink slips to millions of folks that shouldn't be in positions of power. I'd much rather see a productive change and reframe, if you could put it that way, of our system, while remembering, say, older customs and ways and some of our basic principles. That's where I'm coming from. But, Trump keeps saying now, vengeance will be my success. But there was an amazing reaction. I don't know if y'all know who Kash Patel is, but there are now rumors that Kash Patel will be named Attorney General of these here United States. Now, Kash Patel was the investigator that was working hand in hand with Devin Nunes on the House Intelligence Committee. He is featured prominently in Amanda Milius's movie documentary, The Plot Against the President. If you don't know Amanda Milius, I believe the daughter of John Milius, who did Red Dawn, and she's a great filmmaker in her own right. And I encourage you to go. It's based on Lee Smith's book, The Plot Against the President. And Kash Patel is a big character, let's say, in this story. He is the one who essentially was able to see through the BS being thrown his way by the FBI, by the CIA, by the intelligence community, and by so many others. And so, let's put it this way. Kash Patel is young. Kash Patel is talented. Kash Patel is nobody's fool. And he's willing to also stick his neck out there. He's not afraid of getting it chopped or squeezed. So, with the news that Kash Patel, being who he is, having that experience and that constitution to himself personally, the idea that he would become the next Attorney General of the United States under President Trump has some folks nervous. One of them, apparently, is Alex Wagner, who is an MSNBC host. Let's listen in to this lovely lady.
But what jumped out as potentially the most alarming detail was that within the actual Trump campaign, the person whose name is being floated to be Trump's Attorney General of the United States to run the Justice Department is this guy.
We will go out and find the conspirators, not just in government, but in the media. Yes, we're going to come after the people in the media who lied about American citizens, who helped Joe Biden rig presidential elections. We're going to come after you. Whether it's criminally or civilly, we'll figure that out. But yeah, we're putting you all on
Hold on to your butts.
That is Kash Patel, the former chief of staff to Trump's Secretary of Defense, a man who is apparently on the short list for Attorney General if Donald Trump retakes office. Now, Trump has not been shy about his desire to weaponize the DOJ and use it to go after his enemies, and we should probably take him at his word about that. I do think he is serious, but don't just take it from me. Last month, Trump announced that all of the January 6th committee members should go to jail. And today, the LA Times interviewed some of those members to ask how seriously they were taking those threats. Congresswoman Zoe Lofgren said, "One thing I learned on the committee is to pay attention and listen to what Trump says because he means it. If he intends to eliminate our constitutional system and start arresting his political enemies, I guess I would be on that list."
Now, I'm going to keep playing this, but keep in mind that they are literally trying to put Trump in jail. They're coming up with every cockamamie gobbledygook scheme they can to seize this man's properties, to destroy his entire business, to ruin him. If they could exile him to St. Helena, they would. You probably want to go right to that, not Elba, because Trump will come back. But they are literally doing what they are saying they're worried about Trump doing. Is it pretty? Is this the way things should work? No. But, you know, you're going to fight fire with fire, right? Just remarkable. But let's keep going. Keep going, Alex Wagner.
The paper also interviewed Congressman Adam Schiff, who Trump has made one of his top political enemies. Schiff told the Times that he is having real-time conversations with his staff about how to make sure he stays safe if Trump follows through on his threats. So the danger here is apparently very real. And the Biden administration is doing something about it. Right before Trump's potential future Attorney General Kash Patel told Steve Bannon that he would use the government to go after Trump's enemies, Patel laid out what he thinks would need to happen within the government to empower him. He'd have to clean house.
Good.
Do you believe that you can deliver the goods on this in a pretty short order the first couple of months so we can get rolling on prosecutions?
Yes, we got the bench for it, Bannon, and you know those guys. I'm not going to go out there and say their names right now so the radical left-wing media can terrorize them. But, excuse me, the one thing we learned in the Trump administration the first go-around is we got to put in all-America patriots top to bottom.
Well, today the Biden administration issued a new rule, an attempt to Trump-proof the White House. The rule strengthens job protections for federal workers so Trump can't just clean house and replace everyone in the executive branch with MAGA hat wearing Trump supporters. So,
wait, by what authority did you make that new rule? By executive authority? Can executive authority be reversed by a future executive? New rule. We've come up with a new rule. Using the power of the executive branch. They're in Article 2, right? And
yes, Trump could still try to go after his enemies, and he could still try to install someone like Kash Patel as the attorney general to do so. But that attorney general would have a much harder time going full banana republic if the people actually carrying out the work under him were career government workers and not political stooges.
Wait, are we a republic run by our actual elected representatives or by career people that have never even seen an election or been up for a vote? If a duly elected president can't actually run the executive branch, what the hell sort of system do we have? And in fact, ma'am, this has been the critique. It's the new critique, and there are, I guess, some folks still playing the usual Republican-Democrat partisan crap game that don't seem to get it. There are a lot of us, on the right hand, some even on the left, to their credit, who are tired of this professional managerial class that loves to manage problems to death without finding any solution, who gets rewarded even for their failures. Doesn't matter if you make a good impact as long as you made an impact and you know how to play the game. Here's your promotion. Keep climbing that ladder through the bureaucracy, you career people. There are a lot of us that are tired of this managerial elite that seems to think they're actually the ones in charge, not the people's duly elected representatives. Why do they think that? Because it's probably true and has been true for way too long. Now, they could be safe and cushy in their positions if the results for everyday Americans were better. But a lot of folks, not even folks that are all that political, like very apolitical people, are starting to wake up to this. That why is everything so damn expensive? So much more expensive than it was a few years ago. Why is it that we're always kind of freaked out? Fear, fear, fear. Let's hop into the next war. Why is it that a few, like, C-suites and a few, say, financiers and, like, say, like a BlackRock, how is it these few companies are able to create this whole social agenda and push it on the entire country? Why is it that you even have, like, librarians and executives or bureaucrats within the university system just thumbing their nose to those who are duly elected? It's because it's a system. It probably did some great things, but it did its best work 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. And now they've worn out their welcome. These are the same folks that before Trump is even sworn in, use the powers of the national security state, the powers of corporate media, which if you slap Ministry of Information, say on the New York Times or NBC, I don't think their jobs change. They use the power of the national security state, of the intelligence community, of the corporate media to try to frame this man for treason. We have not forgotten that. You got to keep in mind, I didn't vote for Trump in 2016. I didn't trust him. You know what? I still don't trust him. I don't trust anybody running for office. Any man who wants the job probably doesn't need the job. But we live in an imperfect world. And I'm getting a little tired of us pretending we're this democracy, or actually, young man, we're a democratic republic when we're neither. When we're an oligarchy run by this managerial elite that is creating bad outcomes for everyday people. And yet, if you want to actually clean house, if you actually want the executive to be the executive, well, you're the one who wants the banana republic, not me. We'll see. 272-9228. Hey, let's see who this is on line one. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, Joe, it's Chris.
Hey, Chris, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. Just calling about this. The projection that liberals and Democrats have been doing for the past 4 years is mind-blowing. All they are, they're telling you what they're doing and saying Trump's going to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just this projection. I mean, they pretty much tell you what they're going to end up doing. I mean, we are a banana republic. They are turned the judicial system into some third world legal system. It's just they project all this stuff, and they really don't care. They just want to say it on TV so people that are morons believe that Trump's going to do all this stuff when they're actually doing it right now.
Well,
and by the way,
yeah.
Public employee unions are probably the worst. Now, I have nothing against other unions, but public employee unions are probably the worst thing that's ever happened to this country. I mean, it is absent. You're negotiating with somebody that takes your money and sends it out for salary.
Right. Takes it against your will.
Yeah. How do you negotiate that? I mean, that's ridiculous. My thing would be, I'd be a union buster. I'd bust apart every public employee union in the federal government. There's no reason for them to even be existing. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's just they project everything they're saying they're doing.
Well, and then what's amazing is, like I mentioned in passing in my little rant there, that there are people on the left who get it. RFK Jr. gets this. Like his main selling point is this merger of corporate and state control that has made people unhealthy, that has corrupted so many of our institutions, and that is laid at the feet of the, for lack of a better word, the managerial elite. And I love that there are more and more Americans waking up to this problem, even if they're not very sophisticated in their understanding. They're starting to notice something doesn't seem right when they keep saying, protect our democracy, protect our democracy. Something's fishy.
And we talk about Brazil and X being told what they, to get rid of stuff and all this kind of, but the funny part is the U.S. government did that during COVID. What's the difference between some goofball in a black robe down in Brazil than the managerial state telling people to get rid of ivermectin on the internet, which, by the way, FDA finally had to come out and take that off their website.
Right.
That ivermectin was just nothing but a dewormer. And couldn't be used for COVID. I mean, that's going on daily in this country.
Well, I guess the difference was, at least in Brazil, it was a judge saying it clearly. I think it's worse in the United States because our judges don't like this. There have been rulings against those practices. But we had folks kind of in the bureaucracy and the managerial elite and making decisions for everybody with no oversight or law.
Yeah. As they say, you can get 4 to 8 years in a president, right? But, just because they're thought of in the managerial class, that's 4 to 8 years we have to just deal with this guy. Right. We're going to be here a lot longer than they are. And good luck getting us out because, again, public employee unions, these protections, what Biden's doing, you can't get rid of these folks. They're so deep and entrenched. And honestly, I think what we see, you remember how during Obama's era, there was nothing. What did he do? What did Obama do? He just really didn't do anything. But I know what he did. He was packing the federal government full of all his lackeys to do what he's done. And so when you have someone like Trump come in, to be able to turn the ship is almost impossible because they're going to wait you out.
Well, and for instance, why do you think they impeach him over the perfect phone call with Zelensky? It's not necessarily, Trump's trying to get dirt on his political opponent. That's, I think, the cover of the book. But what they're worried about is Trump was about to uncover a decade plus, maybe 2 decades of work that the State Department had been doing in Ukraine. Yeah. And he was about to give the game away. And so no wonder they went after him. And if you all remember those impeachment hearings with Yovanovitch or whatever her name was, or some of these other bureaucrats there in the State Department, you could see, these are the folks who actually run the show. And they do not like being questioned or having plans they've been working on for a decade plus blown up by this loudmouth president.
Yeah, I mean, look at Victoria Nuland. I mean, her fingerprints have been all over Ukraine for over 20 years.
Yep.
She's been involved, and then she finally steps away, but that doesn't mean anything. All her lackeys are still going to be there in the State Department doing their thing. But yeah, the managerial class. This is what happens. And George Bush was probably the beginning of the end, because with the Patriot Act and increasing government spending because of war on terrorism and all this stuff, we made this government so bureaucratic and huge. It's almost impossible to get rid of these folks.
When there's something I always remember that W told, of all people, Glenn Beck in the Oval Office, and he was trying to tell it to Beck, saying, hey, relax. I can't screw it up too much. He said, you don't understand how little power I have. And it's always happening, especially on foreign policy. They box in presidents. And if you try to buck that trend, then they're going to buck back.
Yep. And then when Trump was first elected, remember he had to shoot some missiles over in Syria?
Yeah.
So this will be the last time I do this. Well,
Right.
They didn't like that. I'm sure Raytheon and all these other people said, this is not good for business.
But you got to love Trump's tellings. And by the way, there are moments where Trump's storytelling is just that storytelling. Like his recent explanation of how he endorsed Katie Britt in Alabama was just fairy tale. It was just not true. So I take everything with a grain of salt. But I remember he's like, well, when we did the missile strike, President Xi, tough guy, smart guy, runs 1 billion people in China. He was sitting right there enjoying the chocolate cake at Mar-a-Lago, and I announced to him, we just fired these missiles in Syria. No, you didn't. Oh, yeah, we did. You better watch out, Xi. I'm a tough guy. It's just absurd. It really is. But
well, it is something else. But again, I think the public employee union. That's if you busted any union, that would be the one you need to bust and break apart. There's no reason for it, and the bureaucracy that you're going to be about to write a check to on April whatever it is this year, that's funding it. You're funding your own demise in a sad way, unfortunately.
Well, I appreciate the call, Chris.
Yeah, man, anytime.
Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
What's up, man? How you doing, bro?
Hey, Randall.
Yes, saying fella rolls off the tongue, but I can't call you fella. What's up, fella? I don't know, man. It's different. I don't know. Saying fellas is I don't know.
I mean,
man.
if you want to, you can call me a cracker if you like.
No, no, bro. Ain't nothing brutal about you. You don't crack on nothing, man.
Yeah, but I do honk, so you can go with another term if you like.
There you go. And then, but I don't know. It just seems when you say fella, it seems like it's more of a maybe not a positive thing. I don't know. Maybe my grandmama hollered at me too much when I was a kid. Get out of the garden, fella. Hey, fella, get out of the garden. Maybe it's the first day, so I don't know. Anyway, what you were saying about how they make us, the whole world turn on a dime. Like I always say, we like a pool table. We got 6 pockets, and we can choose anyone we want. But we always end up where they want us.
Yep.
And the Pentagon's got the perception management, and they added the influence office after 9/11. Oh man, I don't forget which one they added at 9/11. Anyway, they added one of either the influence office or the perception management office after 9/11, and it was supposedly to kind of make kind of the terrorism perception of America different and what we was doing to combat what they did. And it was all a lie, just turn and use, to just use it more on us instead of like some of them other programs they had already running. And, they just changed it right in front of us. And then you take yourself, when you think French, you really think, you think soft. They don't do nothing. They didn't do well. And believe it or not, I guess their turn up was in Haiti because, man, they slaughtered and murdered people. It was god awful. The French did and what's become. So it's like they give each country that little turn due and up, just like with the CIA with Bush. Him being in Texas when JFK was killed. CIA, then he gets the key, the key to the White House. I mean, it's kind of, it's like that's kind of like how it feels. Man. I don't know. I just kind of going bouncing off what you were saying. How did they get the whole world to turn on their dime? Because because we're not the only country that's putting LGBT flags in our military. There's 21 others, and there was a project for that. I forgot what the name of it was, but it was named after a boy or girl name. Like, they could be used either way. I do know that it was a by name,
like Pat.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, it wasn't Pat. It was a little. It wasn't so harsh. It rolled off the tongue a little easier. But
Leslie.
But I find out. I go back and look. It's hard to keep up with everything if I keep. You know what I mean?
Sure, man.
Yeah, man. You can't. It was 21 countries that was all in this, and so they got us all looking at different things and not paying attention and talking to each other. We got this means of communication, but all we do is watch what's going on in the other world, what they show us on TV. When I know it's a lie for a fact that it's all propaganda.
Oh, yeah, and I think, for instance, the Pentagon has a huge movie budget, and you better believe that there are a lot of Americans who sadly look at, say, the history of World War II, and they think it's a Marvel movie, and it just ain't that way. It never has been that way. History's messy. The reasons these wars started was incredibly messy and complicated. And yet we kind of love our good guy, bad guy moral melodrama.
Yeah. And man, I had anyway,
well, I'm out of time here, Randall, but I appreciate the call, bro.
Yeah, brother. I appreciate you.
Thank you. We got to hit a break, and hopefully we'll have Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet on the other side. More news and views after this.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by Ernest Financial.
If you're tired of losing your money in the stock market, call David Ernest, 334-279-7431. Ernest Financial, LLC.
Well, hi, everybody. Yes, there will be a sun and cloud mix today, but I'm cautiously optimistic that we'll get some decent eclipse viewing. The ending is at 3:17 in the afternoon. Nice warm day today, high 81. Risk of showers holding off till late tonight in the overnight hours, low 61. Widely scattered showers possible tomorrow, high 77. Then rain and thunderstorms Wednesday. It's a big deal storm system. Locally, very heavy rainfall, severe weather potential, high 75. Maybe some leftover showers on Thursday, first half of the day, high 75. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey Publix. What are you planning on using your tax refund on? With Southern Steel's strong, durable, and built-to-last metal structures, you can build anything from towering warehouses, pole barns, manufactured metal roof panels, or even a barn dominium. Save time and money with a quick turnaround and enjoy unmatched protection against the elements. Whether you're a business owner seeking efficiency or a homeowner looking for peace of mind, choose Southern Steel for a lifetime of security. Trust in quality. Visit them today and build your dreams in steel. 1295 North McDonough Street, 240-2223.
Hello everyone, Robbie Pelt with Capital City Roofing. If you think about it, your home is your biggest investment in life. Your roof covers your home, so why jeopardize your biggest investment on a roofer you don't know anything about when you can deal with a reputable roofing company like Capital City Roofing? We have an A+ Better business rating and the best manufacturers and workmanship warranties available. We do all residential and commercial roofing applications that are certified through the manufacturer to ensure you get the best material and workmanship money can buy. We also have your project in our best interest before and after construction has been done. Don't hesitate to call us if you have any roofing issues or questions. We will match any of our competitors' price and give you the same great workmanship warranty. We also give free estimates. Give us a call today and let us show you the difference. 277-3311. That's 277-3311. Or you can check us out on the web at www.capitalcityroofing.com. Capital City Roofing. We capitalize the roofing industry.
Hey there, folks. I'm Hannah Grantham.
And I'm Eddie Bader. Exciting news. We've joined Forest Meadows Homes and Land.
That's right. And with over 16 years of combined experience from Eddie and I,
you're guaranteed to receive some of the finest real estate knowledge in the Tri-County area.
so why wait? Give me, Hannah Grantham, a call at 334-368-6358.
Or reach out to me, Eddie, at 334-322-0662. Let's get you moving.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
News happens, you'll hear about it first. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. The final minutes here of News and Views in the afternoon. Or as we're calling it online, Joey Clark Live. Let's go to the phones to talk to Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. Hey, Ray, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you guys?
Doing all right. Did you look up at all?
Yeah. I don't blame him. He probably want to go home and put on his glasses and stare at the sun for the next 2 hours.
Yeah, and I think I don't know what he's up to when he's alone. But did you look up at all?
I did actually. One of my buddies from Uganda texted me and said, "Please tell me you're looking at the Eclipse." And I said, "Well, I'll go home and get my glasses." Because they were like, just so I could say I had a friend that actually got to see it. So I went home and watched it for a good 2 seconds and went back to work.
Yeah, it's. I've been seeing images from NASA on the TV here, and it is something to behold. All right,
it's neat. We'll get to see another one in 2074 or something.
Ah, yes.
Oh, 45. Corrected me. I might be around. Dad won't be around for that one. Yeah, he probably will be. He'll be 110 sitting up here still fussing at me.
So how's it going there at the store? Everybody paying attention, even though the solar eclipse is above?
We are. We're all busy. I hear everybody's over typing on their computers, acting like they're working at least, except for David. He's watching some movie. I don't know what he's watching. I'm saying call David. He's bored. Everybody else is working their panties off right now. And we got a customer. Hey, guys, don't forget that carpet. We got a customer carrying some carpet in now. So, hey, if y'all need a floor, call us, 285-8117. We're going to give you the best price possible. We're going to handle all the furniture, everything. All it takes is a phone call, 285-8117.
Again, that number, 285-8117, and be sure to tell them you heard Ray on the radio with that Joey guy when you do call.
Hey, have a great afternoon.
You too, Ray. Oh, we're pretty much out of time here. I'm trying to think, what did we learn today? Well, Trump released his statement on abortion. He thinks it should be left up to the states to decide. I tend to agree with him. I think on many issues, we should leave it much more to local control, as local as possible, all the way down to the individual is my general point of view. Oh, we learned that, of course, we're not crazy. That Janet Yellen in the White House and so many others had said, the 80,000 new IRS agents will only be for us to go after the millionaires and billionaires. What's actually become the billionaires and trillionaires? Mm-hmm. I love, by the way, an institution whose budget is in the trillions of dollars complaining about billionaires. It's like, what? And y'all don't get your money by earning it necessarily. You take it from people by force. Thus, people skeptical of the 80,000 new IRS agents. Yeah, it'll only be for the billionaires, the millionaires, the trillionaires. Well, about 60% of the new cases have been brought against folks who make less than $200,000 a year. Why do you need to look into, say, apps like Venmo or Cash App and all this money being moved around? Why is it you have to tell your bank, hey, I want my 10 grand out? They go, why do you need it, sir? Well, I don't have to tell you a damn thing is the answer. Give me my money. So what a world we're entering into. We were not crazy. They, in fact, are using it to put more restrictions on everyday people. We're seeing that Israel said, hey, we're withdrawing from southern Gaza. The invasion of Rafah has been put on an indefinite hold. They are back engaging in, ceasefire talks. The Vatican came out very strongly condemning sex change operations, gender theory, and surrogate motherhood even, in a new doctrinal note. Actually fascinating reading, even if you're not a Roman Catholic and You don't feel affinity to the pontiff. Well, it is an interesting take, one that honestly does not surprise me, given what I know of the faith I was raised in. And, of course, well, it was a great WrestleMania weekend. Actually love seeing how many folks got back to watching wrestling. Great story for Cody Rhodes and the whole organization there. Really cool to see happen. Yeah, it's fake. It's like, yeah, well, it's better than watching you put all your hopes and dreams on Caitlin Clark. I was warning them, don't put all the hype on this 20-something-year-old lady. Like, you know, there's a lot of basketball still left to be played. Now, give me the pre-script stuff all day, every day. Sometimes it's a much better story at the end of the day. No, I'm done. I'm tired. I'm ready to go. Happy hour with Greg Budell and the lovely and talented Rosie Brock. Well, they're next. Y'all stay tuned.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Coosa.